LPB Racing presents the LPB Fuji 2 Hours. This is part of our LPB Super Season, and we hope you all enjoy this race. Before we do that though, let's go for an onboard lap first with Will.
Alright, now we're going to be doing an onboard lap with Bidster and Techno's car to kind of give you a view of what everybody will be facing in the Fuji 2 Hours. So you're going to come out onto the straightaway, get a good run out of the last turn. You're going to be at the top of the revs. You're going to climb all the way up to 6th gear, and you'll most likely be topping out down towards the end of the straightaway. This is where a lot of the major passing opportunities will be happening for the race. See in the McLaren, you're going to let it ride out 5th, then you shift up to 6th, get the RPM as low as you can. Right on this curb is, brake all the way down to 1st gear to get the car turned in. Touch the curb, come out, touch this other curb, and go up to 2nd. Go up to 4th, the 3rd, kind of come into that apex there. Come up to 4th, you're going to come up to this braking zone here right before the 100 board. You're going to brake down to 3rd, roll the car in, touch the curb, come out, touch this other curb. You got to watch there. It's going to be a big part where you're going to see spins out. You're going to come around 160R here. You're going to get kind of feather the throttle a bit in 3rd gear. You're going to come up here right before the 50 board, brake down to 2nd, roll the car back in to get the best exit out of here as possible. Run out onto this curb just a little bit. Come up to 3rd. Now you're going to be right at probably about 5th, 6th gear right before you come to this next braking zone for Dunlop chicane here. So you're going to brake right about the Dunlop sign there down to 1st gear again to get the car turned into this tight hairpin. You're going to let the car roll back in, keep it in 4th, feather the throttle just a bit. Got to watch the twitch on the way out. You're going to be up in 2nd before you roll the car back into the final sector here. Come back out to the curb again. Come up to 2nd. You'll be right about 2nd, 3rd, right before you come down. Come on this next curb, ride the curb here, but at another point you got to watch your spins. Now you're going to come to 3rd, swing all the way out, bring your car back to 2nd, and you're going to let the car roll in and touch the curb to get the best run of this corner as possible. Another place you're going to watch for twitches, then you're going to be riding all the way back up to 6th gear, and you're going to cross the finish line, and that'll be a lap at Fuji Raceway.
Hi everyone, and welcome back to LPB Racing for the LPB Racing Super Season on Gtsport, the Tuesday edition of the Super Season. This is going to be the Fuji 2 Hours, so we're doing our own version of the Fuji 6 Hours, but we're doing the 2 hour version because obviously we don't really have that much time. So yes, we've got doing the Fuji 2 Hours, and I'm joined here by Will again. Hi Will.
Hey. Is it going to look like going to be a good race between the multi-class cars?
Yes, it's going to be a multi-class one, this one. It's going to be LMP class and GTE. So we've got to see the LMPs there on the grid. And we've got the GTEs lined up behind into the distance. So we'll go through the grid in a moment. It should be a fantastic race. Let's go through the grid for you now then. So we've got Twerdy on pole position then, he's in the Toyota. We decided to qualify where we got people into the classes, and then we decided to put the actual slowest 6 into the top class for a change rather than doing the fastest 6. So that really should make things interesting. Twerdy on pole position then in the Toyota with Keith behind him. Now remember, they are not teammates, everyone is individual in this one, there's no teammates.
And you have Will in the Porsche 919 Hybrid and Red Bull in the Audi R18.
I should point out they're all on soft tyres as well. We've got Firepower in 5th in the other Porsche 919. We're on medium tyres with Bradders in 6th place in the Audi R18 on medium tyres as well.
And you have the first of the GT class and TY and the Acura on the softs, and Bidster 2nd in GT on the softs.
And then we've got Neil Farmack 3rd in class in the Corvette on medium tyres with Blakeney in the Porsche in 10th.
And then you have Techno and McLaren on softs and 4th in class. And you have Intrepid and the BMW on the mediums.
Then we've got Seek 7th in class in the Viper, soft tyres for him. And we've got Jammer with 14th overall on the grid in the Nissan.
And then you have Radas and the Aston Martin on softs and 9th in class. And Stevie in the Supra on softs and 10th in class.
So this is going to be a very interesting race. It's going to be similar to when we did Le Mans, Will. We've got to try and keep track of 2 classes now.
Yeah, that's going to be a good race to see how these 6 and the prototypes can get through this traffic and lap everybody.
So then we'll explain a bit more about the cars as we go into the race. But here we are, 86 laps is going to make 2 hours here at Fuji. The cars starting to move on the rolling start, and it's going to be a good race here, and we'll get ready for the off.
Everybody's slowly coming down to the start, and we are green for the Fuji 2 hours.
We are off for the Fuji 2 hours, and here we go. Twerdy and Keith get away well. The Porsches together, Porsche and Audi together into turn 1. Twerdy leads into turn 1. Oh, he goes hot though. Very wide into turn 1 for Twerdy, and Keith is going to go through. And is he going to take the lead? Close.
And looks like Keith will make it into the lead, and now the GT class gets to start. Everybody going good and clean through turn 1, and the class with the most cars in it, a very good clean start.
Right, yeah, good clean start there. Seat 1 just clips ahead of Techno in the McLaren as Jamo goes wide in the GTR. As Keith now takes the lead. That's the words we've not put together for a while since the MX-5 trophy. But Keith then in the lead. Twerdy second. And we've got Red Bull on the inside in the Audi in third. Twerdy moves along to defend, and just a bit of contact there into the chicane. Oh, it's like a sprint race, and Will's right behind there trying to get through as well. Can't quite do it. Close as you like into the chicane, and now it's the turn of the GTs.
Yeah, and it's like everybody's saying good single file down into the GT class. Not a lot of, most of the time the most intense battling class like now is actually, everybody's saying single file. The prototypes are really out there getting at it, trying to make passes.
Yeah, really surprised with the start there with how aggressive the prototypes were, but just starting to string out a little bit now. But again, the straight will make the difference. And here goes. Look at the Toyotas pulling out the gap. The hybrid out the last corner is the key thing for the Toyotas, and that really helps them out. And but look, we've got a little battle here. We've got Will catching up to the back of Red Bull. Will he go for the move?
And they're just going to pull out and go down the inside, down to turn 1, going a bit wide there. A little bit of contact, but not a lot.
And gets the position though, but a bit robust way of doing it, but gets the position as he goes into third place. Firepower in the Porsche 919, sponsored by a certain brand of, help. In fifth, the Jorex car, and then we've got Bradders in sixth place. Bradders still holding on to these lot. A lot of problems for Bradders in practice and qualifying, but looking like he's still sticking with the pack.
Yeah, not very close. The prototypes are very spread out, but I'm staying with everybody, and it looks like the GT class, not a lot has been going on passing-wise there. I mean, you see the front two, they're starting to pull away just a bit. TY
took the lead from Bidster there. That's one change that's happened. Bidster was in the lead, and TY now is in front in the Honda NSX. Remember, it's a Honda on this one. It's not the Acura. It's the Acura on Project Cars. It's the Honda NSX, and it's more or less its home track, and it's trying to hold on to its lead. Bidster right behind him now. Blake's in third in the in fourth in the Porsche. I think I must have skipped 2 there. And we've got Jamo attacking Techno here.
And Jamo looks like he's going to try to take the inside and makes the pass happen, but Techno is trying to do the over-under, but it doesn't really work. But he's going to try to go back up the inside in this next corner and tucks right back into the side there.
And now that leaves him open to attack from Intrepid in the BMW. Has a look at the inside. Ferrada's trying to go around the outside in the Jorex Aston Martin. So he's brought back the old Jorex Aston Martin from the WEC days. He's resurrected it. And he's got Stevie in the Power Max Super right alongside him, but just tucks in for the draft now.
And everybody's going to sit in the draft, and that's going to see some passes happen. It's probably going to see a lot of the passing happening is right here on the front straightaway down to turn 1 to draft.
Seat 1 not trying to go for it there. Jamo, Techno and Intrepid up the inside of Techno in the BMW. Runs wide though, runs completely wide, and that's going to lose him a lot of place as well.
Yeah, it's going to lose him a lot of places because it's not easy to get back on track in turn 1. He's going to go all the way to the back. So now it's going to be trying to get to see how he moves back up the rest of the race here.
Did you see how close that Aston Martin and that Supra were to contact into the Coca-Cola curve? Absolutely as close as you like there.
Yeah, this GT class is going to be one of the closest classes on track, I do believe, for race-wise. Red Bull looks like he has another incident there.
Just a little mistake there from Red Bull, and back in the car that he actually can drive quite well. The Ferrari at Laguna Seca, he didn't really get on with that very well, but he's looking like he's getting on here, and Firepower's made a mistake as well. So I wonder if there was something between them two there then, as Firepower then goes back behind Bradders, and Bradders in the Audi, up to 5th.
Yeah, so now it's going to be basically who makes the least mistakes here, because Fuji, you can make mistakes on it, but it's not that easy to get back up after you make a mistake, because getting back on track kind of became difficult.
So we've got Twerdy then, who's took the lead off his teammate then. Twerdy back into the lead. He's actually in the Denso Toyota. He's actually running the replica livery to the real life one, just with his own number on, the number 55. Keith then second place in his new team that he's created for himself called Zimmer Frame Racing, because he's one of the older lads in his group, just having a little bit of fun there with the name, and it is a bit of a unique name there, Will.
Yeah, a bit of a unique name there, but you know, looks like he's going to keeping up with the leader there. Toyota's being very strong and running fast laps.
And there's Will in third place, doing quite well in the Porsche. A little bit of a snap there, but that car running well so far, and he's the only one really that's challenging the Toyotas so far, who are looking like they've got a bit more pace in this so far.
Yeah, Toyotas are very strong on this track. They don't have to try to save as much hybrid for the front straightaway, because they have hybrid all race.
Where the fuel icon is, ladies and gentlemen, by the way, is what Will's on about. If you look at where the fuel icon is, and I'll let Will continue.
And yeah, so the Toyotas, they have a lot better of a hybrid boost here between the Toyota and the Porsche there. Toyota's having almost a full thing of hybrid there, but the Porsche down to nothing. So it's going to be interesting to see how the rest of the car is going against these Toyotas the rest of the race.
Yeah, so the Toyota does, when it brakes, it does charge up the hybrid quite a lot. Look there, look. It only had a bit to charge, but it charges it quite quick as Red Bull goes into the braking. And look, he's only managed to charge not even half the battery there into the corner. Let's have a look at firepower in the Porsche, and again the same story for him, but the advantage with the Porsche is it does charge its hybrid while it's on the straight on full power, but it's only a little bit at a time. So remember, these cars are all BOP'd mainly for Le Mans. They've not been tweaked for this circuit, they just run on the standard Gran Turismo BOP. So it looks like for this one the Toyota's got a slight advantage, but again it all comes down to the driver as well, because it's all about the driver as well, so we can't discount that.
Yeah, and that's going to be good. So you see between the cars what strategy they have and the performance they have against the drivers of all the rest of the cars.
And meanwhile, Business took the lead back from TY in the GTE class, and now TY's looking for that move into the first corner. And we've got a few more cars moving out as well. Blakeney O'Neill into the first corner as well. TY goes through a Business, tries to get him back. Neil Farmack, Blake, and Seat 1, and a bit of contact there between Blake and Seat 1. And we've got a car off in the background. Will, did you see what that was?
Yeah, it was Rada's. He looked like he went trying to make a pass, and there was no room there, or nobody left any room and had to go a bit wide, almost looked like.
So, and the other thing we're going to take note in this race as well is they're just coming around at 160R and Coca-Cola curve, and the leaders are already starting another lap. So they're within a third of a lap of them now. So we will see we've got to see some lapping going on, and we'll see if Twerdy and Keith have just as much trouble as Bridgester and TY did at Laguna, because that wasn't pretty at Laguna, some of the overtaking.
Yeah, some of it, because of how tight and short the track is, got a bit risky, but so far here it just looks like people trying to play with that speed they've got going down the front straightaway.
So we have the GT pack still nose to tail, 5 laps in, and it's still it's like a touring car race. It's so close as TY leads the pack then in that Honda, and a last minute draw in. TY wasn't going to compete at this one, but he's got some kind of high speed internet fix now, and he's actually back. So he's going to be back in the following championship as well. So this is going to be really, really good to see from TY, and we have missed him over the last championship, Will.
Yeah, and he's had some problems with his internet, and you tell that there's something different about TY not being there. But now everybody knows he's back trying to contest again for the lead, going down into turn 1 and making the pass happen on the straightaway.
And my God, we know he's back. And Jamo then in the Nissan comes up with the Nissan, the top speed of the Nissan, looking good here, trying to get up the inside of seat 1 into the first corner as well as he goes deep on the brakes and almost hits the back of Bids. 2 for 1, maybe for the Nissan, but can't quite make it stick. And that Dodge is still on the outside of him as Bids to get shuffled out. He's got Neil Farmack behind him now, and looks like it all got a bit close for comfort there. Oh, it's still close.
So they're trying to go side by side through the kink there, and Jamo just makes it happen around there. So now we're going to see if Seek's going to try to get that back down in the next braking zone.
Jamo defends the inside, has a little look at Blake as well. Blake goes a bit wide, leaves the door open. You don't want to do that with Jamo there. He'll be in there quicker than a duck goes to water. But yeah, very close racing here as we go down to the chicane. Let's give a quick look back. We've got Stevie 13th. He's moved up position from the back of the grid. He didn't even get a chance to qualify that car for the race because he's been that busy. But Techno 14th, Rodders 15th, Intrepid 16th. And where are the leaders? There they are, coming down to the chicane, and this is going to get fun.
And now we're getting ready to see how the lapping is going to go with a lot faster cars. At Laguna, it was a bit tougher. Not too much, because you're in a hybrid versus GT3 cars, but Laguna, everybody was equal. So now it's going to be how these prototypes can get through, and you can just see Twerdy in the background trying to catch up to these cars.
Yeah, you can see them there with pulling Keith along with him. Remember, they're not teammates, they are in the same car, but they're not teammates. There's Bradders and Firepower in a nice little scrap back here. Bradders in the Audi keeping that, keeping the Porsche off. But let's go back to the to Twerdy then, and let's see, there he is, he's on board with them, and now we'll see the speed difference of these cars. There we go, straight through on the straight. They've got more or less the same top end, but they get there a lot quicker. Into turn one, and Twerdy gets, Twerdy and Keith just clear that pack, I think. Keith's just going to clear the pack. But remember, the GR3s get right of way, Will. Do you want to explain a bit more about that rule as we're watching the overtakes?
So how our overtaking rule is against cars like these is the GT car has the right of way into the corner. So that means that basically means don't dive bomb in the corner. You have to pass where you can, which is as Twerdy's doing right there. Basically having basically to get around these cars is you're going to have straightaways and exits out of corners. And you see right there having a bit of a scrap trying to get out of the middle of these GT cars. So basically you can't, the GT cars have right of way. That means they get to go first. And if you don't, that will end up being a good penalty there, as they just cleared the entire GT field.
Twerdy doesn't quite get it done though, and now he's stuck behind Bidster because he's got to take his line. And Keith actually got caught. Twerdy's actually been caught napping in that traffic, and Keith's pulling ahead now. Look, he's already up to the next corner. Twerdy's now stuck behind these GT boys because he ended up making a mistake a few corners back. As Will was explaining the rule there, Twerdy went down the inside of someone and just got caught out on the brakes and hit someone. Had to let them go and then resume going, and then that just let Keith through. But Twerdy's getting a bit caught out here, and Keith's already on his way. He's already up to 150 miles an hour, and Twerdy now finally gets out from behind Bidster and pulls away. But that could be not good for Twerdy there, and the tyre's starting to go down quickly.
Yeah, he saw there, and when we were watching him, he had a bunch of big slides, so his tires are starting to go down. Now as the rest of the prototype field gets to try to get to this traffic.
So Will now catch up in the Porsche, but obviously they've got to get past all the traffic first. Firepower and Brad are still close. So in the GTE class then, it is still Bidster in the lead, 7th place with TY behind him, 2nd in class. Neil 3rd in class with Blake 4th. Seeks 5th with Jamo right behind him, so Seek wants to pass Jamo back. And again, a very, very, very close top 6 here. And Stevie is approaching them, but, well, taking a few shortcuts while he's at it, mind.
Yeah, looks like he maybe cut the corners a bit back there. I didn't really get to see all of it.
Just pushing hard, I think. We'll count that as pushing hard at this early stage, shall we?
Yeah.
As we see Will coming up the inside of people now. Will up the inside of Techno there into the corner. Red Bull closing on this as well, so this will be a good test of Will and Red Bull going through the traffic. Can they do it cleaner than the rest? Let's have a look as we go. Let's have a look at Red Bull going to the inside of Rodders. You can get him on the brakes, and look, he's cleared him before the corners. Oh, almost hits the back of Will there. So close to disaster, and that could have been a race-defining moment. I know we're only 9 laps in, but still it could have been. Oh, right behind him.
If there'd been some contact there, that'd have been depending on how the race would have went from there. Start to see the battle heating up here, and Red Bull will go through.
Sneaks up the inside of Will there, trying to catch him out. Now Red Bull goes wide, and Will tries to go down the inside of Stevie. And Stevie's like, hold on a minute, boys, I've got one on the outside, one on the inside, where do I go? But then Will goes back through on Red Bull, gets him back in the traffic, and now they both draft each other down the straight. And see how they're trying to make use of all that traffic, and I'm surprised how much the tyres are going down on the LMPs.
Yeah, because the LMP cars are trying to shove cars down the inside, trying to get past these GT cars. So they're starting to slide just a bit more.
Oh, to the inside! Oh, contact almost as Will just clears the traffic, and Red Bull gets caught out there, and TY's took the lead back in GT as well. So all this prototype passing as well is actually prompting changes of lead, which is quite entertaining, as well as Bidster right behind the back of that Honda NSX. And all the GT field still close together as Jamo and Stevie go side by side, and that's not going to help Bradders out because he's going to have to wait until these two are finished. Or is it? No!
Looks like you're going to try to sneak it up the outside there and make it happen. And then, about went on the inside there of, looks like it was maybe
Seat one.
Keith. It was Seat Keith trying to go through.
It was Seat one that got the contact from Bradders there. Bradders too hot into the corner and hit Seat one, so that was a bit poorly judged there by Bradders. But again, he's got to try. He's been patient now, but Jamo's like, move that LMP out my way. I'm in business. I've got Steve at my house here. Move.
Yeah, it looks like them GT cars are able to make it through that chicane a bit faster than the prototypes are. And Jamo goes way wide out through there and has to try and navigate his way back on track as Stevie would go through then.
First pit stop of the race then, the Toyota in the pits of Twerdy. No fuel at this stage of the race, it's a quick tyre stop. Keith will probably have to respond quick, Will, in order to try and keep the battle.
Yeah, so I'd imagine Keith will be in probably in the next few laps with them tires maybe. And I mean, Red Bull's tires, again, at the last few Super Season races we've seen, his tires are low.
Very, very low Red Bull's tyres there as Brothers comes past the traffic like it should. Well, like he's in a different dimension in that car. But Business took the lead back from TY again, so Bidster and TY swapping leads almost every lap. Can't keep up with who's in front. Whereas Firepower, he's just coming around the first corner, slots himself in there. Oh, actually, no, he's got a lot to pass still. As Firepower's been a bit caught out in the traffic here, and that's not helping him out here. Look, he's still stuck behind, he's waiting behind, he's being patient. One thing we know about Firepower is he's one of the most respectful racers we've got.
Yeah, and Firepower will really take his time. I don't think he'd make any moves that nobody else would. He's very respectful and will let these cars, race themselves out and pass where he can.
Yeah, tried to keep. He went really slow on the inside there just to try and allow them room to turn in. And also we've got Blake moved back to 11th place. Blake's been put down to 11th. So he was running in the top 5 and he's now down in 11th. So something's happened there, Will. I don't know quite what, but we'll have to see. As Keith then into the pits, so Keith and Twerdy battle continues.
Yeah, now it's going to be see who's going to come through. It looks like Tori's going to come through on speed there, but oh no, Keith just makes it pass, so it's going to be now a battle heating right back up.
So Keith then Keith then in the lead of the race then on lap 12, and it's Twerdy on lap 12 as well in second. Red Bull and Will in at the same time now. Identical fuel, quickest on the pit stop. I think it's going to be Will out first if he doesn't put any fuel in. No, Will's out first, and Red Bull just coming off the jacks now. He's putting fuel in, Will.
Yeah, it looks like he's going to put a full load in. He's going to lose a lot of time in the pits because of that.
Yeah, I mean, I'd personally let the fuel go down, but Red Bull obviously going for some kind of different strategy here. And 5th place for him now, and 6th place for Firepower, and Bradders moves up a place. But, okay, the marker just been destroyed there as we go through the corner. But Firepower then looks like, well, he's got to do a pit stop still, but looks like the medium tyres could have been a good call for Firepower here, and Bradders.
Yeah, it looks like they're trying to go with a lot longer because these cars, basically you have to these cars are a bit different to the GT cars on how people have been doing things. Maybe not the low fuel quick tire strategy may not be the greatest for these prototypes out of the GT cars. And
Biz up the inside of Intrepid. I think Biz has just made a pit stop. You can see by the red of the right hand side lap board there. So Biz has been in the pit, so a very early stop for Biz in that Ferrari. Yeah, I mean the Ferrari was struggling a lot for grip in qualifying and everything. It had good grip, but the tyres just didn't last. As soon as you slide on them, it's horrible. And you can see Biz at the bottom right corner. He's actually running driving aids in that Ferrari because that Ferrari was so uncontrollable. As Rodders goes wide, makes himself vulnerable, and Neil Farrett trying to get through as well. Looks like Neil followed Bidster in as well.
Yeah, that's what it looks like. So now it's going to be, you see these cars having some bit of trouble trying to get past each other when they go wide or have some moments.
So Neil Farrett ends up behind Intrepid and Rodders. That's not going to help him keep up with Bidster. Well, Bidster's on fresh tyres now, but how many of the GT pack will respond to this pit stop? Because remember, they've got to go in before that white line appears, and they are doing now. There's a lot of people coming in at once now, Will. Pit stops are about to start happening.
And everybody is now starting to respond to the pit stop, stop in line with each other. A bunch of cars going in all at one time now. So now it's going to be a race out of the pit lane.
So everyone pitting up ones here. So seat one's out. Let's try and keep track of them coming out the pits then. So let's go back to roughly 7th place. So Bidster rejoins, and just TY comes out the side by side out the pits, Will, and it's just Bidster just holds it there. Incredible rejoin.
Yeah, and that was mainly, a lot of it looked like TY had to stay really close to that corner there, and Bid was able to get the run out. So now, but they're really close together as everybody else starting to rejoin back on track together.
And Jamo's put more fuel in, so Jamo's put more fuel in there, so he's gone a bit further back in the pack, but whether that'll help him in the long run, we'll have to see. But not many other people going for fuel in this one. Looks like they've rejoined in more or less the order that they came in. So let's just run through the order then. Let's run through the LMP order as well. So we've got Keith in the lead with Twirdy now right behind him, 125.4, Will.
And Tori's starting to get that pace back up, with that hybrid and that draft. So, and you can see he's flashing the lights there. He's really trying to get by Keith and maybe try to distract him just a bit.
Yeah, he's trying to do something, but he's right behind Keith now. We've got Will in third. We've got Red Bull in fourth for now. With lots of fuel in that car though, and he's got, rightly so, Bradder's right behind him. Lighter car, medium tyres. Could possibly go. Oh, Red Bull's lost it on the inside, on the outside. Sorry, he's onto the inside of the track now, and just catching the rear end on that curb, Will. And obviously, you'll know from running the prototype here, it's not good.
No, if you run wide there, a lot of times you're going to go around and clip that curb with that massive wheel spin a lot of these cars have.
So we've got Will in third and Brad is in fourth. We've got Firepower fifth and sixth Red Bull. So that is the order of the LMP now with Red Bull's mistake. I'll let you take the GT pack, Will.
We have Bidster leading class in the Ferrari, and then TY in eighth, which is second in class. Neil in third, and Seek in fourth. Blakeney in fifth. Stevie in sixth. Rada's in seventh. Jamo in eighth. Intrepid in ninth, and Techno in 10th.
With the LMP1 leaders about to approach them again. So again, this could be a key moment for Keith and Twirdy. Very key moment.
I was going to see if they're going to get held up or how they're going to lap traffic again, because these GT cars are still very close together.
Let's have an onboard from Twirdy then as we go through, and he's on the inside of Keith. Let's go back to the outside now. It's Twirdy catches Keith out with the traffic and straight through on the inside. Good move by Twirdy there, veteran moves.
Yeah, he was able to judge that traffic a bit, and he was able. He has a bit of an off there, but
was able to judge
it.
He hits Jamo.
Contact right there on the inside, so Keith's might be trying to look down the inside. Now he has a penalty.
He hits Jamo. He's bullying him out of the way, trying to get through the corner. He can't go through there side by side. Twirdy should have gone through there and then just stopped on the exit of that corner and let the cars go through, because he knew he ran wide and he was being way too over aggressive there. And definitely goes through. It's Keith playing the patient card. That's what Twirdy should have been doing, but Twirdy definitely getting carried away with all that. And again, that could be a big penalty for him at the end of the race if he's not careful. If he keeps doing that, that could be an actual LPB Racing penalty that gets put on him.
Yeah, because you really have to be patient when lapping slower cars like that. You can't be too ambitious, which looked like he was trying to do. So that could really ruin your race and someone else's race.
And it did ruin Jamo's race, because he's now down, well, he's still in 14th, but he's got Intrepid right behind him now. The BMW trying to go down the inside of the Nissan, but onto the brakes, and it is the Nissan who has the better brakes over the BMW. That's news to my ears.
It looks like but the BMW looks like he's going to go down on the inside of him here, but Jamo's going to have the run for the kink, so see who's going to get it to go side by side through the kink, and now, and if Intrepid can keep this line, he'll have the line for 160R here.
And Jamo round the outside of him.
And now Jim is going to have the line for this corner. It looks like he's going to finally get it, and now they're going to go back to single file.
That was incredible, side by side, around 160R and Coca-Cola curve. That is not something you see every day, and Techno got a bird's eye view of that. Absolutely incredible stuff there by Intrepid and Jamo. Good racing respect and good racing room by two veteran racers.
Yeah, that was showing how they can race with each other there, and now the lead cars are starting to lap some more of the GT cars here. Let's see if Tori's going to be a bit more impatient here. It looks like he is going to hang back and wait for the straightaway on this one.
And Seat 1 looking to get past the Corvette as well as he goes through. So America versus America here, Will. And Keith goes through in the Toyota. It's a nice clean one for Keith. He moves up a little bit there, but the battle of the Americans on the straight. And the GM's win.
It looks like Seek had a very good draft, but it looks like that Corvette is kind of keeping that gap just a bit.
But on the brakes,
Seek's going to try to go down the inside there. And
just shuts the door in his face.
Shuts the door on him. So
I think his foot was still in the door when he shut it then.
It looked like Seek was trying to kind of put his nose there on the inside, but just couldn't get enough there to make the pass happen.
Yeah, and I'm glad he stuck his nose out when he did, otherwise he would have had his nose well and truly chopped off by that, because my God, that was close. But anyway, back to the leaders in the GT then. It is Bidster in the lead with TY in second place. Remember how close they were at the exit of the pit lane, but Bidster's tyres are looking a bit more worse for wear. Remember, he's running driving aids in this one, and I'll tell you something, I was not ashamed of it, because that car is very hard to drive. This will be the last race that we run the standard Gran Turismo BOPs on, by the way, also, and we're going to be running our own LPB Racing BOPs, because Gtsport and Polyphony Studios keep changing it, and if they keep changing it, that must mean there's something wrong with it, so we're using our own. So we're going to be using our own from the future onwards, and it should hopefully make the racing even closer than this.
Yeah, and have you seen through some of the races that will be put up later that the racing does get a lot better with our own BOPs, so it should be a very good rest of the races.
Nice one there, Will, with a little plug. Good job as Jamo then in 14th, Intrepid in 15th, with Will coming up behind in the traffic now, and looks like at this stage of the race, Will, you didn't quite have the pace and all luck with the traffic. It looks like you're doing a TY from Laguna.
Yeah, the traffic caught me out in a few places I didn't want it to, but you know, it's still a good race. Keeping it, the Toyotas were very quick with their hybrid. You know, basically once I kind of got caught up at the beginning of the race with some of the prototypes I was trying around, battled with them, I kind of lost Toyota. So from then on, it was kind of keeping away from these two.
And Red Bull and Bradders side by side through the last corner then. Audi versus Audi. And Bradders is keeping his foot in it. He's not giving way to that Audi of Red Bull at all. Trying to keep up as best he can as he tries to move out the way and keep the draft. He's moved once, so that's fine. He's moved once, he's keeping it respectful. And down the straight we go, Red Bull in the draft, but not going for, he's going to go for the inside now. Even though Bradders is trying to defend the inside, Red Bull's still poking his nose at the inside, and Bradders runs wide. And Red Bull takes the place without spinning on the exit this time. So good close racing there between the two Audi boys.
Yeah, and also in these cars, running wide in turn one always isn't that bad. If you can get your car in a straight line, your hybrid deploy a lot better. So that always isn't a bad thing.
So Twerdy now in the lead of the race, with Keith a lot closer than he was before, and it looks like they're a bit out of sync with the pit stops as well, because Twerdy's tyres are a bit more dead, unless that's because he's been sliding around more, but looking like Keith's holding up his tyres better.
Yeah, it looks like Keith's tires are doing a lot better than Twerdy's, so these two are going to be out of sync, so it's going to be good to see towards the end of the race which one is going to be ahead on pit stops.
Yeah, because on pit stops, Will, there's only Twerdy's, the tyres are 1 lap older, and for 1 lap older there shouldn't really be that much difference.
No, and it's probably a lot of sliding that Twerdy's doing. You know, as we're seeing with Red Bull, he's doing the same thing, doing a lot of sliding on his tires.
So wide out of Coca-Cola.
Yeah, very wide there, so his tires are being very abused here.
So Will then in third place, trying to get past some of the leaders in GTE, and the GTE battle's looking very good here as well, as Neil Farmack tries to stick the Corvette up the inside of seat 1, who's actually got past him, and TY is also still in front of Bidster, and they've got Will just behind them now. Will should be able to go cleanly around the outside. There's the onboard view from Will's car. Round the outside we go, and as clean as a whistle goes through. And there's TY and Bidster left to battle amongst themselves. And if we watch back here, this is the difference on acceleration. Oh, when Will doesn't stop sliding. There we go, and then look, just leaves them for dust. So we go back now to Red Bull. Red Bull's in fourth. We've got Bradders, he's just starting to fall off Red Bull now. But again, Red Bull has been caught out with the traffic before as well. And remember, Bradders and Firepower are, well, they were running the medium tyres. Firepower's pitted in the last few laps and put a pair of softs on, so that could seem come a bit further back up.
Yeah, and the lapping is going to be catch all these prototype guys out, because the last time any of them may have been in a prototype lapping cars like this was during the WEC season, and by what I remember, only 2 people in the prototype class were there. So it's going to be some of their first time having the lap cars like this. Yeah,
very. It's going to be very interesting, and Twerdy, it's one of his first races on GT Sport with us as well. So. Getting used to the game as well, and Bradders as well getting used to the game. So yeah, there's going to be a lot of different change out there, as Bidster looks like he's going to make the move for the lead in GTE.
And he's going to get in the draft and pass TY, but TY is going to get right back in the draft and maybe try to get it back in the braking zone here, but they're going to stay single file, and and see if he can probably get a run at these next few corners.
One thing we've got to remember as well, everyone, is the fact that we've got the fuel depletion to worry about as well. So again, these cars can turn down the fuel, so you can turn down the fuel, so you will lose probably about 30 or 40 horsepower, but you will be able to save fuel. So it depends if TY there just thought, right, I'll let Bidster go, I'll save a couple laps on fuel, and that might help me towards the end. So it could be a little bit of a strategy playing out here from TY as well.
And it possibly could be. He's no stranger to doing that. We've seen him do it in a few other of the super season races. So, and it seemed to work out somewhat decent for him. So that might be his plan here again. And
Stevie's gone back down to 15th. I don't know whether he's just pitted or not, but he doesn't look like he has. It looks like he's had a few problems with traffic or something, because he's did a pit stop 143. I think 154 would have been the pit stop, and yeah, he's done quite well on these tyres, but he's down into 15th now, not having the luck that he needs. And Bradders is now stuck in traffic with Firepower closing fast.
Yeah, it looks like he's just not having the luck that he wants in this race, having trouble with his cars trying to lap him. So now that's also going to play into this GT battles, as these cars lapping him and splitting these battles up.
You see, getting on board here from Stevie, looking back at Bradders, and he still can't get past Stevie. And look who's there in 6th place, the blue car. It's Firepower in the Porsche. He's really getting close now. Techno sort of keeping an inside line. I don't know why he's doing that unless he's just the line of the car. But then out onto the straight, this is where we'll see the cars go past as Firepower and Bradders go through. We'll see there goes Bradders and Firepower. You can just see the handling struggling of that Porsche as he goes into the pits.
Yeah, you can see that Porsche is having a bit of a stroke coming out of that final turn there. And so now we have two of the prototypes in that have been very close to each other, so now it's going to be battle out of the pit lane.
So battle out of the pit lane going to be coming in here. Let's see who Bradders is out first. Firepower's still putting fuel in. Why is he doing this? He's doing it again.
Yeah, that's kind of weird to see. You'd figure they'd be running low on fuel, so maybe he might have a strategy for the end of the race with that Porsche.
Yeah, soft tyres, heavy fuels, that's not going to be a good stint for the Porsche then. We'll have to see how that goes, but Bradders not putting as much fuel in there, trying to get the fuel down a bit and keep up with the pace. So Red Bull back in 4th. He's trying to close up on Will, but Will's already at the last corner, already about to start another lap and possibly a pit stop looking at the tyres.
Yeah, I'm going to go around again. Yeah, I'm going to go around one more time, so trying to maybe bring that gap out to the car in 4th.
So we've got Keith in the lead of this race, then in the Zimmer Frame Racing Toyota. I still laugh every time I say that. The Zimmer Frame Racing Toyota then in the lead of Keith, and a nice looking colour on that car. TY did the paint job on that, and a very good job by TY. And Twerdy he's in 2nd in the Denso Toyota. He's still trying to get, he's fresh out the pit, so he will be catching Keith. There he is, he's catching him, but it is a quick pit stop here at Fuji with the Gtsport physics and that. But Red Bull's in then, and he's looking for some new tyres after probably destroying another set. No fuel though, straight back out, and that's going to be the difference maker. But he's out just behind in the middle of that GT pack. That's not what he wanted.
No, that's the last thing you want to be is put out in a GT pack, because then you lost time in the pit lane, then you're going to lose some time lapping cars. So that's the last thing you want as a prototype driver.
We've got seat 1 in the Corona Viper closing right up to the back of Bidster and TY. He's actually putting a press on now in that Viper by the look of it. As Neil Farnett's sort of gone a bit backwards in this one. Keeps finally in the Toyotas as Red Bull makes his way sweetly through the pack. Nicely judged there by Red Bull as he goes around the outside of TY. And Twerdy then takes the lead. Keith comes out the pits, and Twerdy at 25.4 on his first flying lap after the pit stop. So definitely pressing hard here, but he just needs to work a bit better on getting through the traffic. But patience is key, I think.
Yeah, patience is definitely going to be a key strategy here. So if you don't have the patience, then you could easily end your race by just clipping the front of somebody. So I mean, he has the pace, just needs to kind of slow down a bit on the lapping, not get too ahead of himself.
So Twerdy then passes Stevie in 16th. I think Stevie's just gone in and out of the pits himself. Will goes out a bit wide there for Will at the first corner, but gets away with it. He's okay. Red Bull just on the start straight. Bradders in the middle of the GT pack with Firepower as well, as Bradders runs a bit wide there. Firepower just biding his time in that Porsche, but I still don't understand the heavy fuel cycle, because it didn't work for him at Laguna, and I don't think it'll work for him here if he keeps doing that. He needs to put the fuel down, I think.
Yeah, I mean, that guy possibly could work for him, but maybe here he's trying to run a bit heavier, which I don't know why, because it's a very fast-paced track. So maybe it's just something he knows that we don't, but at the moment I don't see him really gaining a lot of time on that.
And a lot of the GT cars now pitting. Bidster's in, Blake's in, Jamo as well. Blake's on his way. Got Jamo in the pit still in 13th. Rod is in, Intrepid. A lot of pit stops happening here, Will.
Yeah, everybody's starting to pit together. I'm wondering if that's some thinking from Laguna, where everybody was pitting differently. I wonder if they're starting to think if we pit together, then maybe we can finish together, because that was a lot of the thing from Laguna is the pit strategy.
Yeah, so Stevie comes through and he's actually ahead of Rodders at the pits then, so Rodders in the Durex car goes to the back. So both Durex cars then at the back of their respective fields, so not a good day for that team.
Yeah, it's looking like, they're not having the best of luck here at Fuji, but we still have a long race to go, and it's going to be interesting to see here at the two original teammates now brought their old liveries back as kind of like a throwback.
Yeah, throwback to the Durex days as, well, people interpret that wrong, but yeah. TY then in 7th place, the lead of the GTE class. He's actually starting to pull out a bit of a gap now on seat 1, but it depends where they rejoining respective to Bidster, and then because they've all pitted. So we've got Bidster who's in 10th, he's the first one of the ones that's pitted. And Neil Farmack is just ahead as well. I think he's a bit out of sync with the rest now as Firepower goes through. Let's have a look. Here's TY pitting. Yes, TY's in and seat 1's in, so this could be quite close as they come out the pits then. So the battle is on. Where's Bids? He's there. He's got Twirdy just coming up behind him, so this could be the draft that he needs.
And also to GT cars, the prototypes can use the draft, but off these GT cars, get them a bit more down the straightaway. But these GT cars, if they can shoot right behind that prototype as he laps, and they can get a good draft too, and it's going to be a battle down the braking zone here, so he gets a better run.
Seat 1 comes out behind, but TY gets out ahead of Bidster. Crucial track position there for TY, but again it could be crucial for Bidster if he wanted to save a bit more fuel and put less in at the next stop.
Yeah, he's probably also trying to go, like you said, for that shorter pit stop the next time around. So pit stops are going to be, again, another factor in this race.
And that Ferrari doing very well around the long corners, and but so is the Honda as well. The Honda responding well to this track. A bit wide on the curve there, but all seems well. We've got Will in the pits in 3rd place in the overall and 3rd place in the LMP. You can see by the 3 dots on the side of the car there. And Will comes out the pits. Where's Red Bull coming down the pit straight? But looks like you've got out ahead and soft tyres and just under half tank of fuel, so looks like you're going for a similar strategy to those around you.
Yeah, I figured the car would. No, it worked out good for Spa, and by what I've seen of Laguna, it looked like it worked. So that was no. And again, at this point, everybody's starting to mess their strategies a bit. We really won't see people set a strategy a lot of times until the final 20 laps or so of the race.
So Twirdy then is about to actually come up and lap one of his fellow classmates. He's about to lap Firepower, and obviously blue flag rule does apply to within the same class, but it's the GR3 cars that get the GT cars, that get the right of way over the LMP1 prototypes.
Yeah, and the prototype class they need to let them by, but in GT class they have to wait until the prototype can safely pass.
So we'll go back to GT then. We've got Blake in 11th, a bit more spread out now in the GT class. We've got Blake and Jamo running on their own there. We've got Stevie, Intrepid and Rodders quite close though. But we've got Techno who's gone to the back. I think he's on an out lap here. He's just starting to start his first flying lap. So Techno a bit more out of sync then. So we've got a few GT cars staying together and a few out of sync, which could make things interesting towards this middle part of the race.
Yeah, now everybody's starting to kind of split up a bit, but everybody's, a lot of cars are on the same pit strategy, so that's going to really bring cars together towards the end on pit stops.
It's going to make things quite interesting there as TY and Bidster together down towards the chicane, the Dunlop chicane, into the car. So we've got the TY running his own art car, the team player. Let's run through some of the liveries of the cars that we've got. So we've got Twirdy in the Denso Toyota. He's gone for the official Toyota Denso colours that ran at Le Mans. We've got Keith in the Zimmer frame racing car. Nice livery there as he made up his own sort of, a very old school livery, isn't it?
Yeah, but it looks very good on the car actually. By what I'm seeing here, it works and it looks very good.
Good job there by TY, the person who gave Keith those colours. And then we've got, I'll let you take yours.
Okay, so this is a it looks very plain, but it's Splatmaster. A lot of people don't know that my dad ran GTP cars back in the 80s, which is IMSA for over here in the United States, and I decided to go with this livery because my dad right now is fighting cancer, and I decided to kind of do this for him. So kind of doing a throwback to then with this car, going two complete different cars, but I thought it would look very good. That's why it's plain, because we couldn't get a lot of the decals, but I did I did the best he could with what he had.
And a very good representation there, and hopefully we can get on the podium and as a nice little tribute to your dad, which will be really, really good. So looking good so far, but still got a long way to go in this race. Red Bull then, he has got one of the, he's in the Audi R18 16, but he's sort of gone for the e-tron colours.
Yeah, that looks like that's the first year of the Audi.
2014
Audi,
e-tron, I think.
the 2014 colors. Yeah, it's a 2014 colors. So that's when. That's when we were over here in the U.S. We're still getting Audis for races. Maybe in the last year we had them, and I do believe this is the Infineon car, isn't it?
The Bradders is actually in the, I think it's the R10 TDI colours. From 2010 and 9, I think, sort of around that area. 2011, sorry. So I think that's those colours. It says e-tron on the side because it's it's not respective of the era, but this one is an e-tron. So and then we've got firepower in the famous LPB Racing Durex colours.
And the famous Durex colours from the first WEC season.
Yep, don't get too excited. But they will have the kit for that.
Actually, a bit more information on Brada's car. So what I have here, it says the R10 TDI dominated Le Mans, winning each year from its 2006 introduction until it was replaced by the R15 in 2009.
That's the one. It was the R15 I was thinking about, that other one. So yeah, well done there, Will, correcting my facts there. Well done, sir. And good job there by whoever did that livery as well. And then we've got firepower in the famous Durex car. We've got Neil Farmack with, actually just go back to the race a minute. We'll have a look at the GT field on their colours in a bit. But Neil Farmack then out of sync on the pit stops, and he's not letting these guys through.
Yeah, and the two cars that looks like are in second, third in class have now caught Neil. So now this battle's starting to bring up here too, but they are off sync on the pit stops, so that's also going to play a factor in this battle.
And everyone nicely just judging it through the chicane. Neil Farmack looks like he's only a lap or two off pitting, because looking at the fuel level, he might have to call it in a lap or two.
Yeah, and that doesn't look like he'll be in pretty soon here. We got another battle for 13th through 15th, it looks like here.
Yeah, Stevie, Intrepid and Rodders. We've got Toyota Supra, BMW M6 and the Aston Martin V12 Vantage. As Intrepid looks like he's going to make a move into Dunlop, but now just has a little peek. Rodders though might have a go on the brakes, and just showing how good that Aston is on the brakes, but couldn't quite get down the inside enough, but looks like a nice little scrap here for 13th. We'll come back to that in a little while. We'll just go back to the leader scrap.
And now it looks like the Corvette's actually pulled a bit away on the straightaway, so I'm not sure if that was a good run out of the corner or if that Corvette just has that much speed.
Or American power. Yeah, yeah. Screw you guys, I've got an American V8. Goodbye. And but now we get to the corners, and the Honda and the Ferrari are right back on his boot lid.
Yeah, and now after they got it long straightaway, now the cornering from the two mid-engine cars is really going to come back into this Corvette.
And you'll see this at this next corner, 160R. You'll see the difference in the mid-engine cars. I know there's tyres difference, but this is where Neil Farmack's car understeers. You can see there, look how close to you is. He's practically pushing him round the corner here, and he just can't quite get away through. But yeah, Neil Farmack not able to get up the inside, not able to get the speed out the corner that he wants. Because TY and Biz is staying right on his tail.
Yeah, and as you see on the straightaways there, he pulled right back away, but as soon as they get down and these little tight, quick in corners, that them two mid-engine cars are really going to bring that gap back. And
this could make things interesting. We've got yourself, Will, closing up on this group of cars as well, so that could make the difference. We'll have a quick look up at the other guys as well. He's just passed some traffic there with Bradders. Oh, he's actually lapped his own class with Bradders and Firepower. We're actually quite close on track again.
Yeah, this battle really comes back and forth, it looks like, through this race between pit stops and speed. So this is going to be one of the battles to watch towards the end of the race, I do believe.
So we'll come back to that a little bit later on, as Neil Farmer looks like he might have to peel into the pits at some point for the fuel. And oh, he's trying to go to the pits, but Will's trying to get through on the inside, on the outside. Okay, that's a turnout for the books. But I mean, I remember in the race over the mic, you sort of spiked up with your voice there, like, Neil, what are you doing? And then it all got a bit hairy from there. And I'll let you talk us through what happened there.
Yeah, I was going around the outside. I'm thinking, okay, I'm going to let these guys go through these last 3 corners. I know that we were somewhat even through there, and I'm going to go straight. I'll just shoot right by. So I come on the outside, and all of a sudden I see Neil come over. I'm like, Neil, and then I just kind of like kept it full throttle, and he just kind of went over and shot through. So it was a very nerve-wracking there to try to get by.
And Neil Farmer was thinking, I just want to go in the pits. Is it this hard? I just want to go in the pits. But yeah, very close call there, but well judged by both drivers and good awareness. And that's why you've got to have good awareness in the multi-class race, Will.
Yeah, because you don't know what the car ahead of you is doing, because they're in a completely different class. So you don't know what they're doing, especially when you're coming up to a pit entry. You don't know if they're going to come in or not, because you have no clue where they're at in the strategy. So it's very interesting, especially when you're that faster than the car you're trying to lap.
And another thing as well, we've just seen there both Toyotas into the pits. Twerdy out ahead of Keith, but Keith is a lot closer to him now. And again, it looks like Twerdy struggled with the traffic last few laps. Because look at Keith's lap times. He's got a 26, 26, 26 the last sort of from 27 to 29. If you look at Twerdy, he's actually 27, 29, 28. So not very consistent there from Twerdy, but Keith bang on the money.
Yeah, and you can tell Keith's really doing good with this traffic here, so that could play towards the end of the race depending on how they get through traffic.
So will you go around another lap? Then we've got Red Bull into the pits then in the Audi. Bradders and Firepower in a real mix of battle here, because there's a battle going on ahead of him. Let's have a quick look back down the Audi. It's Stevie, Intrepid and Rodders and Techno on the back of this bunch now. A real good battle, and these guys are battling like it's for the lead.
Yeah, and all these guys, they don't care what position they're going for. They're going to try to get as high up in the field as they can, so they're really not going to let any of this go.
Yeah, Rodder's trying to get down the inside of Intrepid there, couldn't quite do it, as you see the LMPs go past there, as Intrepid goes to the pits, and I think, Firepower through the middle of them both. We didn't really get a good view there, but Firepower through the middle of a car that was going to the pits, and Rodders and Stevie were side by side, so it was 4 wide for a moment there. Incredible.
And that's, again, just knowing where the car next to you is going to be at.
Contact!
And a bit of contact there, going 3 wide of the exit as Twerdy's trying to get through this traffic as well. So it's really starting to heat up here towards the middle of the race.
That was a classic example of 3 into 1 does not go. As Keith gets ahead of Techno into the corner now, he'll try and go around the outside of Rodders and Stevie. Bearing in mind if Stevie's tyres can hold up and Rodders' tyres, but Keith just gets around the outside of them both. And well judged there by Keith, again having much more luck with the traffic than Twerdy. But Twerdy then gets past Jamo cleanly this time. Jamo probably gave him the finger as he went past from earlier, but all's well that ends well.
Yeah, and I mean, you see Keith got a little bit held up there, but really, if you try to be impatient through traffic, sometimes that's just as slow as holding up and waiting to a better time to pass traffic.
Yeah, so let's see if Keith can manage his way through the traffic, and one of them is his own class. He's got Firepower to try and get through as well, but he might use Firepower on the way out on the straight, so we'll have to see what happens there. We're on lap 32 of 86, so we're not quite at the half distance point yet, but we're not far off, as Keith then gets to line you up, and let's go on board with Keith then. Look at see the hybrid power of the Toyota, even straight past his own classmate like he was in a GTE car.
Yeah, them Toyotas, I mean, you can see that right there. He has, coming onto the straightaway, he has about a half a tank of hybrid left compared to the Porsche Firepower that just now got up, even just now getting up to halfway. So, big hybrid difference there.
Very big difference there, as we see Stevie in the pits in the black Supra. I thought I saw a cargo in the pits, so he's down to last, but he's putting himself through more fuel in, some more boots on the car. Intrepid's just going through there. This could be quite close with Intrepid, as now he's out in front of him, so Stevie then rejoins behind Intrepid. So that's spread out the pack a little bit, but again it will close up towards the middle part of the race, Will.
Yeah, towards the middle end of the race, a lot of these battles will close back up. So right now everybody's kind of spreading out, slowing down just a bit, trying to push too hard, because they do know that they're not even at the halfway point and have a long way to go.
TY has just come into the pits as well. He's on fresh tyres. We've got Neil Farmack on freshish rubber as well. 37.5 his personal best of the race last time round as well. Seek and Biz looking like they're eking this one out just a little bit now. looks like Bidster's left rear tyre taking the beating, but that's just the Ferrari for you. But stays out again, so it looks like Bidster's pushing the boat out with the strategy here.
Yeah, it looks like he's really trying to get this gap stretched out a bit more. He's out of Seek's out of drafting range, so he's really trying to push this lead out as far as he can.
It looks like they're all out of drafting range, really. I mean, the Corvette will be getting a bit of draft from Twirdy going through there, and Twirdy tucking in, giving the draft to other people as well. But yeah, that's where the LMP ones do come in handy sometimes with the with the draft, especially when you're in the GT car. And it was also quite a good experience for some of the lower end drivers. No disrespect to yourself or any other drivers in LMP1, but it's a good experience for you guys to experience the LMPs, how fast they are and how much you've got to judge the traffic, but also quite handy for us lot who just get used to lapping people to actually be on the receiving end of a blue flag or receiving end of trying to be aware of what's around you.
Yeah, because a lot of the guys up towards the end don't know really what to do. Because like I know, I missed qualifying for classes, so I got put in the prototype, which actually was good for me because I just joined right when WEC was happening. I didn't really get to participate, so it was a good experience to try to figure out how to do this and do it cleanly on this game.
Sorry, Will, but TY and Keith, they're almost coming together. Didn't quite catch that before it happened, but looks like Keith tried to go the wrong way around TY there, and Keith putting himself on the grass, so even Keith getting caught out, which just proves to show what we're saying.
Yeah, just anybody can get caught out, and it happens to a little bit of everybody, so it's really going to play a factor towards the end of this race here.
TY passes Sneak One. Yeah, sneaks down the inside of Sneak One on the inside. I put my teeth in as Keith goes past him then and laps the field again. And Brad is coming through now as well in 5th place. Bidster's in now, the leader of GT in, and this could be the difference maker because TY is he's a lot closer to the end of the straight than they were before.
Yeah, now they're a lot closer because all this battle happening, so it's going to bring everybody back closest to leaders now in the pits.
So here we are just over 50 minutes in distance in this race. We're on lap 31. The leaders on each class is Twirdy in the lead of LMP1, and we have TY in the lead of GTE. We are going to take a quick break and we will be back with you shortly. LPB Racing presents the LPB Fuji 2 Hours. This is part of our LPB Super Season, and we hope you all enjoyed this race. Okay everyone, we're back from the break and we are back with the action then. So TY there in 7th place, we've got Neil just passing seat 1 there, good move on the inside there from Neil Farmack, and obviously seat 1, tyres definitely destroyed and coming back into the pits this lap looks like it will.
Yeah, it looks like his fuel's getting pretty low. His tires are getting pretty low too, but he's still able to keep with Neil, so he still has good pace on the low tires.
And plenty of front tyre wear on that Dodge Viper, and that's definitely a characteristic of the American cars. As seat 1 runs wide there, so definitely the front left tyre, as we were talking about it there, not in its best condition, and the Viper seeming to struggle with a bit of that as well in this race.
Yeah, it looks like he's having a really hard time with the tire wear. I mean, the front left is pretty low, so probably steals a lot of the camera on the track.
And there's Will in 3rd place. Oh, massive snap out the corner, and very uneven tyre wear on that car as well. Will, were you struggling at this point in the race?
Just a little bit on tire wear. I wasn't expecting to have to pit this much in the tire wear, but having to push hard, get past these GT cars and keep up with the leaders, kind of did that a bit.
And speaking of leaders, it is Twirdy there in the lead of the race. Little recap for everyone: Twirdy in the lead of the race with Keith in 2nd place.
And you have Will in 3rd and Red Bull in 4th.
We've got Bradders in 5th and Firepower rounds off the 6 runners in LMP.
Yeah, TY leading the GT class and Neil in 2nd.
We've got Bidster in 3rd in the Ferrari, and we've just had a pit stop. We'll just have a look, and seat 1 comes out ahead of Jamo.
And Jamo next in 5th. Blake in 6th.
And then 7th in class is Intrepid, followed closely there by Stevie.
Yeah, Rada's in 9th. And Techno in 10th.
So Techno not having the best race in this one, Will, but he has done quite a long stop for fuel, and that could pay favour to him later on in the race. And soft tyres as well.
Yeah, he had a bit of a long stop last time around, but that could play towards the end of the race. On a long field, maybe making just a short pit stop towards the end.
We've got a nice little battle developing here between the BMW of Intrepid and the Toyota of Stevie, who's looking for a little way around the inside, trying to poke his nose at the inside in that Super as Intrepid goes quite wide there in the BMW. Not necessarily a bad line there, but he defends it well. Now they've got to look at Red Bull approaching in the mirrors, but Stevie is definitely looking like he's got some more pace now.
Yeah, it looks like he's picked his pace up just a bit from the last previous laps. He did a few 40s, then went to his pit on a 57 with a pit through. It looks like he runs wide there, goes way off in the grass, getting maybe a bit too risky trying to pass these cars.
Yeah, you see he went to the outside there and he got on the grass and he had to swap to the inside and then just lost his bearings, but now that's going to hold him up because he's got to try and wait until we can get to the straight to pass these two. So we'll just have a look with this now. In fact, we'll actually go on board with Stevie so we can see the onboard, and a massive twitch there from Stevie as Red Bull tries to go around the outside of him. But remember, the GR3 cars get right of way and Red Bull being a little bit impatient there.
Yeah, and that's one thing that I've been saying throughout the race. It's just these prototype drivers can't get impatient, because that'll just end, everybody involved's race right then and there. You can't get impatient, because when you do that, that's when penalties start happening and the bad race starts happening.
Yeah, and Brad is a bit out of sync with Firepower here, but Firepower's out the pits, fresher tyres, has been going for a few laps now on them tyres. Bradders looks like he's due a pit stop because those tyres are going, but not bad pace from Bradders at this point, but he's losing touch with Red Bull. As we just saw back there, we've got Stevie and Intrepid alongside each other into Coca-Cola curve, and Stevie trying to go around the outside, gets the inside for 160R, and a bit of a risky move, but pays off.
Yeah, and sometimes risky moves like that can pay off, but you don't want to keep doing too many of those early in the race. I mean, we still have a good amount to go here, so it was a good move. It's just every now and then you don't want to keep doing that.
And Intrepid looking like he's going for a few shorter stops here, Will, because he's on lower fuel and he's only been out the pits, I think, about 6 laps. So looks like he might be going for a different strategy as the lighter car goes around the outside and trying to get around the outside of him. And Stevie cuts off the cutback for the left-hander, and wise stuff there from Stevie. But Intrepid looking like he's trying some different strategies out here in the BMW.
And you're going to see that a lot in the first half of the race. People are going to be playing with their strategies to figure out what's going to be best to do. So you're going to see that a lot here.
I just thought I saw a car in the pit lane. I'm just looking at it's Will. Will's in the pits here. Yeah, definitely tyres dead. Fuel is definitely needed, so a possible longer stop here for Will. And that is going to let Red Bull back into 3rd place there, unless Will doesn't put much fuel in here. But yeah, Red Bull's definitely through now.
Yeah, and now he's going to try to maybe stretch his lead out because we were off sync there. So he still has a full half a tank of fuel left in this car.
So you've gone for more or less the same fuel as Red Bull has now. So Red Bull then a bit more worse on the wear of the tyres, but a bit more fuel. And now you're at the pits and something either trying to warm up the tyres or. But I wouldn't advise warming up the tyres near the grass though, Will. Not the best strategy.
Yeah, you're still trying to figure that car out every now and then. It gets.
As we have Intrepid who's just come out of the pits. I was right, he pitted and he's come out just in front of Techno, and Techno tries to go for the cutback on the inside. And can he get the grunt out the corner? Soft tyres versus medium tyres. This will be close. Will, I'll let you take this one.
And now they're going to go into Coca-Cola curve. Techno's going to try to go side by side, but he dives in. Looks like going to try to get the cutback to go on the outside of around 160R, but then he's going to tuck right back in and get the run out for the next corner.
And could that damage Techno's race here? Because soft tyres, and he's got a lot more fuel in the car, but he's got soft tyres and he needs to try and exploit those soft tyres. But again, I suppose it's his own fault for putting more fuel in. But again, it might not be his own fault because he might be going for a later strategy, but we'll have to see how that works out anyway. But as Intrepid definitely feeling as though he needs to defend into the Dunlop hairpin and around the chicane. So a nice little scrap happening there as it's not over because he's having a look out the corner, but can't quite get a move done.
Yeah, it's a bit right there. That's going to be more of the fresh mediums versus the worn softs, and also the weight of the car with the more fuel that Techno has.
We've got Jamo in the pits now. Jamo in the pits, so changing the tyres, more fuel going in the Nissan. Where's Stevie? Stevie comes in as well, so this could be close between Stevie, Techno and the rest, so we'll have a look here. So Jamo comes out in 12th place. Stevie's there, still in the pits. Rodders is coming through now. Stevie's just off the jacks. Fuel is going in. Doesn't need to put as much in this time, though. Here comes Techno and Intrepid. So let's watch from Stevie. Here we go. He's still in the pits. He's putting a lot of fuel in that car. Yeah, 3/4 of the tank going. Where's the rest of them? Can we see? There they are. from the outside who's come out the pits, and very close indeed, but Stevie holds on and looks like he perfectly timed the fuel there to get out in front of him.
Yeah, and he just just got it through there with a run out of the corner, but now Intrepid's looking at how to run as Firepower comes through.
And Firepower, the very sensible thing there, just really get the power down and just squirt past and then get the position. So that was very well timed there by Firepower, and they were practicing that a lot in practice, weren't they, in the qualifying as well.
Yeah, a lot of the prototype drivers they would go out and try to get their fast lap done, and the rest of the time it would be watching the times and trying to practice with traffic, because a lot of these drivers haven't had a chance to do that yet. So, and practice, a lot of people were trying to squeeze through on the corner moves.
So we've got a new leader in GTE, then it's Bidster in the lead in GTE. Seat 1 and Neil very close together as TY is coming out the pits, I think. He's still there. So TY is losing time now. Neil at the inside of the two American cars. Contact as we go through the corner, and whoa, that was a bit of an over-the-top move there by Neil.
Yeah, it was, and this is almost bringing it back to the early 2000s between Corvette and Viper. So this is going to be a good battle, as you saw. I think it was Twerdy that went off in turn 1 there a second ago.
Yeah, Twerdy running a bit wide there at turn 1, but he gets out the pits and he's still behind Keith. So he's come out behind Keith, but Keith is due a pit stop. So actually, no, it will be Twerdy side that resumes the lead. So I'm slightly out of sync there. Apologise there, guys. But there's Red Bull in third. Will, you're in fourth now, and you're actually not far off Red Bull. But again, you two are out of sync as well. So it's going to be hard to tell who's going to be out. Which one's going to be sort of in the lead in the long run.
Yeah, and me and him, we were going back and forth all race. At one point, he'd be off sync. The next thing you know, we'd be on sync. So it's good all the way through.
And we've got, like you said, Will, the Corvette versus Viper livery, and Neil in the Japanese Corvette colours, the Fujimaki colours of the Corvette that I think ran in the Japanese Endurance Series or something similar to that. When they raced in Japan, so maybe Will could dig up a bit more info on that for us while we're going through the race. But we've definitely got the Viper of Seat right on his tail, but looks like Neil's just pulling away now, Will.
Yeah, it looks like he's going to get pulled away. That Corvette had some grunt to it, so he's going to get a little bit of a gap on the straightaway, but in the corner, Seek will actually be able to corner just a bit better than that Corvette.
So Twerdy takes back his lead in the LMP class, then takes back the overall lead of the race on lap 42. Keith comes out the pits then. Not much fuel going in that car now, so we're definitely down to the stage where they can put a bit less fuel in and just try and manage the stint the best they can according to the tyres. So more or less on the same fuel there for the two Toyotas. And there's Will in third, but the Toyota's definitely the car to have in LMP1 around this track.
Yeah, it really is. I mean, the Toyota, it was a really good car. It has the hybrid system all the way around the track, so it's a very, very good car.
And we can see now Firepower is now in 5th place because again Firepower and Bradders are slightly out of sync now. So Bradders clean, fresh tyres, half tank of fuel, and Firepower just quarter of tank of fuel, but tyres on the way out. So again, we'll have to watch later on in the race how that will develop. So let's have a look then at GTE. So it is Bidster in the lead in GTE in the Ferrari, up through the last corner. Rear tyres starting to go on the way out, fuel going down, but trying to manage things as they go. Red Bull going past him there. And then we go back to Neil in the Corvette. Have you found anything on the Corvette yet, Will?
So it looks like it was in a Sprint Cup series. It was the C7R, which is what's being raced here. It was in the picture that I found so far. It was at Fuji. It was for a Sprint Cup GT race.
I wasn't far off then. It's a Sprint Cup GT race for Neil's livery, and it looks like a very good representation of the livery. The yellow, just got to put our number on, the number for the LPB Super Season on as well. The little image that we have, little sticker somewhere on the car. And so there goes Seat 1 in the Viper, still chasing him, still trying to keep within touch, but it just looks like the Corvette's just got the overall pace at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, it has it's a very quick track with a lot of quick corners, and the Corvette is able to handle pretty well around there. The Viper kind of struggles around quick corners, but in the tight, twisty ones, it'll be the better car.
And I just noticed as well, TY, when he came out of the pits a couple of laps ago, Will, he's actually gone for a full tank of fuel. So any logic why that would be possibly the better strategy to go?
if it's anything like the last 2 races that we've had, the only thing I'm able to think of, because the pace isn't there, is maybe the car handles better to TY that way. So maybe he's just wanting to go for the better handling at the moment.
Yeah, and I know also the next few pit stops will be quite quick as well, so we'll see how that gets him on later on in the race. But Bidster's still leading the GTE class, just being lapped there by the Zimmer Frame Racing car of Keith. It's funny saying that, but really nice livery on Keith's car. And Bidster sporting the AF Corsa colours, the SMP Racing AF Corsa colours of 2019 or 18, I think that was. So nice colours. Let's have a look at some of the other colours on the cars, Will, while we're just in this sort of mid stage of the race. So Twitty flaunting a Denso colour there, the actual Denso Toyota Gazoo Racing Team colours. And then we've got Keith in the custom made TY Zimmer Frame Racing car, and probably one of the best looking cars on the grid.
Yeah, and actually, I never got it until I looked it up what that was about. So I think it's pretty funny.
Yeah, you can see the little picture there of the Zimmer Frame on the back of the Zimmer Frame Racing car there by Keith. And here's yours, Will. We talked a bit about yours earlier, your dad's livery on a 919 hybrid, and it looks pretty good on that car, I do have to say.
Yeah, I had one of our custom livery makers, TY, do it for me. Like I said, we were missing a few decals, but it works for what we're doing, and maybe for the next race it'll be a bit more accurate.
Yeah, let's see if we can get that done as well. So Red Bull then, he's in a Audi e-tron colours, the 2014 colours when they went to the hybrid. Oh, Red Bull getting a little penalty there, and very rare to see a penalty around here. And I think he got that for just cutting the inside of the corner too much. So again, not what Red Bull wants.
Yeah, no, he doesn't want to keep getting those penalties, because he got in the absolute worst place possible, is on the front straightaway, and you get the best run possible. So even in the draft, you can see he's kind of losing some time because of the run he got. So that's the worst absolute place to get a penalty.
But now he's on the back of Twirdy, and hopefully can try and use Twirdy to pull him along a little bit and see what he can do. But look at the hybrid, the difference of the Toyota. The gap already pulled out the corner, incredible, because the Audi won't have had as much hybrid left there, and Twirdy's leaving him for dust.
Yeah, that's the big thing with the Toyota. It has hybrid everywhere, basically, around this track. So, very good runs at the corner for that car.
So there's Firepower, and he's in the Team Jorex, and an old WEC car that we had in LPB Racing. It was a bit of a fun sort of Mick take livery, and but it's sort of caught on. Firepower and Rodders running those cars there, and yes, definitely a bit of advertisement for something a bit more controversial, should we say?
Yeah, it looks like he's running the same exact one from the WC Race too, and he looks like he's even got some official sponsors on there now. I see Mobile One down there. Yeah,
he's got some proper sponsors on there as well. Yeah, he's got all the stuff on. It looks a bit more authentic and that. So things getting better and better with each LPB Racing race. We've got Bradders in the R10 TDI car from 2006. So. But obviously on a modern 16 plate Audi, so a bit different there from him. And then we've got Bidster in the AF Corsa car, and actually it was due a pit stop.
Yeah, you're getting pretty close to it. Actually, I do have a story about that exact car. At Sebring, when they were doing the test for the 1,000-mile race, that car was in the wall.
Ah, well, that really puts my hopes up for this race then. Thank you for that, Will. Thank you for the curse that you're about to put on me for the rest of this race, so appreciate that. But, yeah, like you said, that what year was that again?
This was 2019.
Oh, so, right, okay, so that was, I'm running the 2019 livery, so let's hope that I have a bit more luck down in the Pacific region, not in the North America region. So let's hope I can keep it going. But I'm in the Bidz is in the pits then, fuel in the car. He's trying to go through again, but he put more fuel in, and that's not. Actually, I'm surprised he's that close, even with putting more fuel in.
Yeah, that's very surprising. You've seen the pace drop between the cars that put a lot of fuel in, so he's doing the best out of all those cars that decide to do that.
If you look, Bidz today with the tyres going 139 before he came into the pits, and TY in the 38, so that makes perfect sense. But we'll have to see how TY goes. But looks like TY is actually going faster with more fuel in, which actually proves your theory from the last race as well, Will, about TY.
Yeah, that looks like he's more stable in these mid-engine cars with the more fuel, so it looks like that's working out for him.
And there's Twirdy going through, and we've got Blake just behind him as well. Let's keep going through the cars and the liveries then. So we've got TY in a very multicoloured car there, and a bit of a random design for him. Not like TY to go all out with that many colours on his car. Usually it's either white, or pink or yellow or something, but a blend of everything there.
Yeah, it looks like he went for the art car type thing. So I kind of like it. It's a bit out there. It's special for this race.
You can definitely tell which one it is as well on track. That's one positive thing for us. If we didn't have the names above the car, we could definitely tell who's who. So there's TY and there's Jamo, and Jamo then in the Milwaukee Nissan. Not quite sure where that livery ran. That's just a bit out of my factual zone, but I'm sure we'll be able to dig something up on that as I'm going through a few of them more. There we've got Blake in the Porsche, a nice sort of camo blue colour there in the Porsche, very nice colour indeed.
From Patrick Dempsey Racing.
That's the one, I thought that was the name, I was just making sure. Obviously you're the one that knows a bit more about the IMSA facts than I do, so the American racing, so that's it, Dempsey Racing one. And we've got Stevie in his own sort of custom Power Max livery Toyota, just having a bit of a sort of a touring car theme to that. And then we've got Rodders in the second Durex car, the Aston Martin version.
Yeah, you see both of them, kind of bringing that joke back. It's good. It's good to see you have something like that in the race. And really, to be honest, for what it is, it looks pretty good.
And a bit more special with having the number 69 on the side as well. He's changing his number from 53 to 69. I wonder why. Techno then in 15th in the orange McLaren there. So obviously running their typical McLaren GT colours, and Intrepid's gone down at 16th, so he's been pushed behind Techno, but he's having a go now, Will, on the inside.
Yeah, now he's going to try to get that side draft from him and pull down the straightaway. And that BMW has some legs on it, so it's going to see who's going to get the inside run off the corner. And it looks like Intrepid's going to be there. And Techno goes wide, but still able to get the power down. And these are going to be going side by side, looks like down to the Coca-Cola curve.
And very, very good traction out the corner there for the McLaren on the outside. Very surprised with the traction, but Intrepid gets the position, but he does run wide to give Techno space, which is what a lot of other people need to learn in the group at some point, is leaving room for another car. That even if you're on the inside, don't just turn in and move across the other car. You've got to leave space, just in case they stick their nose there or they're still there, because you never know, they might have a brake problem. You've got to make sure you keep yourself safe as well. But Intrepid's colours inspired by his own race car that he had a few years ago, and had a grey and red sort of design to it, so keeping the theme going in his LPB Racing car, so good to see there. Any updates on the Jamo livery car that's coming into the pits actually?
By what I'm looking at, that looks like that is a self-done livery. I can't find anything on a Milwaukee GTR.
So a custom livery there for Jamo. Anyone else recognise that livery? Just pop us a comment underneath and we'll see if we can get people to comment on what that could be. So or it could be just Jamo's fine artwork that we're appreciating. Basically, Jamo was saying that your artwork's that good. It looks like an official car. So, which is quite a good compliment. So anyway, let's get off colours and let's get back into the race. Twirdy then in the lead with a penalty, probably lapping other cars and getting a bit carried away with himself like he were at the start. He's just lapped Will in the Porsche and Neil there, and a bit wide into the corners. Looks like Twirdy's struggling with traction.
Yeah, it looks like he's starting to struggle with a bit there with his tires going down. So it looks like he's not happy with the old tires.
Definitely struggling there as Firepower's in the pits, then in the Porsche. Bradders goes through, reclaims the 5th place that they're battling over. But seat 1 is getting a bit held up there by yourself, Will. I think he's just trying to get out the corner. But again, your tyre's on the way out, so possibly going to be following Twirdy into the pits here.
Looks like I'm going to be stretching this run out.
Looks like you're going to be stretching it out, yeah. So you can see as the LMP cars took in, look at the speed the Toyota has over the Porsche, the double draft from Neil's car as well. But that just shows you the difference with having that extra hybrid off the corner. But you're not giving up. You're trying to see if you can keep with him, but you can't really fight because he's lapping you. So quite close there, but just not able to do what you can do.
Yeah, it's just that way better hybrid power out of the corner. That's the big advantage than Toyotas have. And
you've got Red Bull closing on you quite close there, but again, I think you've passed Red Bull there because his tyres are going, and obviously you're due for the pit stop, so Red Bull will probably take back the third place. Penalty for yourself there, not quite sure how you earned that one, but probably went wide off the exit of 160R as you were lapping people, but all's well so far then. Brad is in 5th. Bidster still in the lead of GTE, TY further back. Just the tyres starting to get to him now. The only problem with running more fuel is that the tyres do that! It makes the car go very wide, and Neil Farmack could have a chance here.
And he's going to be all over the back of TY coming out of the chicane there. It looks like he's going to be setting him up for the straightaway. Seek's now going to join on this battle. Yeah,
and we know how fast that Viper is in a straight line. We saw it in practice. The Viper probably one of the best cars in a straight line, even without a draft. And also on the initial acceleration as well. That's the pulling power of the V8 engines. As Neil Farmack has a look at TY, but again can't quite get it done. But in the draft now, he should be able to do it. But I think TY, is he heading for the pit lane? Yes, he is. He's getting rid of those tyres, and we've got loads of LMP1s in the pits now, Will.
Yeah, it looks like a lot of the LMP. It looks like actually everybody but the last two in class is in the pit lane right now.
So 2/3 of the LMP grid coming to the pits then, and Keith and Twerdy rejoin, and so close to each other as well. And Keith just holds on to the lead, so Twerdy must have made some kind of error, and Keith's closed up in the pit lane, and he's actually passed him. So Keith takes the lead then of the Fuji 2 hours, and a big turning point. You see, I'm that excited, I'm losing words.
And this is a big moment in the race here. We are over halfway done with the race, and now you see the battling still as strong as it ever could be.
And also Will gets out ahead of Red Bull as well, and that is a battle for position because they're both on lap 50 together as well. So 2 battles that have emerged from the pit lane, 3 if you include the GT battle that we've just got in front of us here. This is going to get spicy.
And now it's going to be dealing with the lap cars in traffic too, who can get past them best. And Red Bull's going to tuck in there. He kind of got to the corner.
Clever.
I mean, he got down in the corner, but just barely before the GT car could commit.
And just got around the outside, probably just saved up enough hybrid through the other bits, and just got enough. And he didn't actually get in the way of Neil there, so credit to Red Bull there. Actually, quite a good little sneaky move there to keep with Will.
Yeah, and that was a very good move down the inside to get down into the corner before the GT car could commit. So it's a good move by Red Bull.
So Keith and Twerdy having a nice battle in for the lead then. The 2 Toyotas, these are not teammates, okay? These are not teammates. And Twerdy's up the inside into the first corner and takes back the lead of the Fuji 2 hours. But Keith will not take this line down.
No, Keith's going to sit there and battle all the way out to the end. So this is going to be a battle that's going to go all the way into the race if they can stick with each other.
And we've got Red Bull and Will quite close together there as well. But I'm just going to go further back through the field because we've got a massive gaggle of cars here. We've got 13th, 14th, 15th together in the GT class. And also Rod is actually closing up on the back of these boys as well because he was out of sync before, but now he's actually getting closed up. And also we've got a few LMPs in there. This is going to be fierce.
Yeah, this is going to be another one of those battles. You're seeing everybody in prototype having a battle to deal with, and GT cars are starting to come back together. Now you have a prototype battle mixing in with a GT battle yet again.
So back to the leaders then. Twerdy in the lead. Whoa. Twerdy's starting to twitch the car a lot, unless he's feeling the pressure. He's just pushing hard, but the back end of his Toyota doesn't look as smooth as Keith's.
Yeah, it looks like he may be, trying to push us a bit too hard. Because it keeps being that close behind him, but that's just pushing that hard is just going to bring him closer and closer to you.
And you think Keith would have the more twitchier car being in the turbulent air, but also fuel difference as well. Twerdy's put a bit more fuel in than Keith, so Keith will be a bit lighter, so theoretically should be a bit quicker in this stint, so we'll have to check him on that later. Red Bull is ahead of Will, and Will, you've gone off the back of Red Bull there. I'm not sure if we saw anything that happened there, but definitely something happened. So Red Bull's lap time then across the line of 127.0 and a 131.1 for Will. So yeah, definitely something happened there.
I can't remember off the top of my head, but I do remember a little twitch or off track in this battle.
It was definitely something, and you've gone off the back of Red Bull now, so you have to get pushing in that Porsche and see what it can do. But Red Bull has got more fuel on board, so he'll be slower on the stint but quicker in the pit stop, so we'll check back on that later. Let's have a look back at the GT battle. So we've got Bidster in the lead. Neil and Seeks literally nose to tail. That Viper trying to get into the boot, or the trunk as you call it, Will, of that Corvette.
Yeah, and this battle was one that I kind of figured would happen going into the race. The two American cars going at it, just like they did in real life when they were racing together.
Yep,
so it's coming into our racing here. This battle is re-emerging.
LPB Racing likes to reenact and replicate races that happened, and we do like, obviously we are replicating the WEC Super Season. We're doing our own little version, and it's been quite successful so far. Plenty of views on the Spa 2.4 hours. Don't forget to check out our other videos, guys, of our championships and also our other Super Season races. All worth a watch. And don't forget to like and subscribe to LPB Racing as well, because that's where we will really try and grow from, and hopefully we can bring you more content in the future. But Neil and Seek, right on it here.
Yeah, and these two are going to be another battle that's going to go all the way down to the end of the race. Pretty much anybody that's got a battle right now, if they can go all the way to the end with it and stay with each other and not pit stop throw them off, most of these battles will go to the end.
Trying to look from Neil's head cam if he can spot Seek one, but he's not quite alongside enough then. So both cars definitely holding their own in a straight line. Nothing wrong with these two cars in a straight line, but Seek one's on the inside. Neil gives him plenty of space and goes around the outside, and they're still side by side out the corner, but Neil's just got the edge. But that doesn't necessarily mean he's got the pass done, because the next corner could be different, but no, he does just about get ahead. And over the plenty of cut there, that could be a penalty.
Yeah, he cut the curb a bit, but by now he would have got the penalty, so it looks like he was just on the safe side.
So it's just on the safe side there. So I'm just looking at it. We've got some other cars there. We've got actually we've got Firepower. We've got another battle now. Firepower and Bradders have seemed to have got out in sync as well. So finally we've actually all come round full circle, and most of the cars now are back in sync. So we've got some good battles happening here then. Bradders and Firepower, and Bradders looks like he's took Firepower but makes a mistake, and Firepower round the outside in the Porsche Durex car and gets the inside line for Coca-Cola and actually makes it stick.
Yeah, and then with that, he got a bit of a run off of Bradders there, and then is going to get the run at a 160R. Now it's going to be if he can get the run out of this corner and carry it the speed all the way down to the hairpin and chicane.
And if you look at Bradders' hybrid, yeah, definitely ran out there. So look at Red Bull and Will, you're definitely closing it back up, Will, but you've got, an incident with a GT car, and got very close there, but luckily you went a bit wide enough, but just looks like a little bit of mistiming there.
Yeah, just trying to push hard to catch back up, and it's another one of the things I've been saying. Got a little too impatient there, and I ended up paying for it.
So we've got a nice group of cars now from 13th to 16th battling in GT. Intrepid is due for a pit stop because he'll not last that fuel more than a couple more laps. Stevie's fine, he's got plenty of fuel in the car left and tyres look good. Techno tyres looking a bit worse for wear, but the fuel's good, and Rodders has got a bit of both. So this could be a bit more of a strategy race than an actual on-track race here.
And it's going to come down to strategy, and I do believe with this race it'll come down to both, how you perform on track and in the pit lane.
So you come through the corner then, and Intrepid goes through there, and Stevie behind. We'll have to see if Intrepid comes in this time. Just going to look a little bit further ahead now. We've got TY, and TY's caught to the back of Neil and Seek. So TY's caught back up to the back of them after the pit stops and everything, and right back up to the back of them then as Blake comes in, and in the Porsche, and we've got Intrepid. Yes, he is coming into the pits, Will.
And Intrepid had basically almost no fuel left, so he's going to be making his pit stop. And he's the only one out of that group to come in the pits.
As Techno then with Rodders alongside, we're on board with Techno then into the corner, we turn in and we're in front of Rodders, so we get the move done there, a nice move there in the McLaren, but Rodders is fighting back, but he's not able to quite do anything here. He's flashing the lights, pulling back out, pulling back in, putting some pressure on the back of that McLaren, but not quite able to get the move done.
And he was just I mean, he was all over the back of him, but maybe it looks like he slid just a little bit, so that's what brought the run down. But he's still going to be all over the back of him.
Twitty and Keith still close together at the front. Twitty running a bit wide there again. Just looks like Keith's a bit more consistent at the moment, and also he's doing better on tyre wear as well because the bottom lights pitted at the same time. If you look at the tyre wear, watch Twitty's tyre wear. We'll swap to Keith's now. Keith's tyre wear is definitely looking better, and also up ahead, Bradders and Firepower having the battle of their lives, Will.
And that's the good thing about this. Maybe even if you're off the pace, you have somebody to battle with, and it's shown there's battles all the way from first to in class to the last two in class, and even overall. And back there, it looks like the Nissan went wide back there.
Yeah, Jamal going very wide there, probably just trying to get out of the way of the two LMP cars. He shouldn't be doing that though, really. It should be the GR3s that get right of way there, but looks like something happened there. But Jamo is back on track and he's not lost much time, so he should be okay there. We'll go back to Twirly and Keith now, who are approaching more traffic.
Yeah, now, but they're approaching their own class traffic this time, so that's going to prove to be just a bit more complicated when you have a car that's pretty even.
Yeah, so, and also Will and Red Bull still very close as well. We've got Red Bull with about, like I said earlier, with a lot more fuel in the car, but Will looks like he's catching up. Let's have a look, 128s for Red Bull, and that's why running wide is not just losing concentration after 56 laps in this race, just losing a bit of concentration there. But Will definitely with the better lap time last time round anyway.
Yeah, the Porsche's a very good car, and could keep up very well compared to the other cars in class.
And this could be interesting to see how good the hybrids are. Look at the Toyotas. Look at that, 20 through the middle, 4 wide there as we go onto the straight. And now we're on board with Keith, and there's Firepower and Bradders, and we're just leaving them for dust. And now we're going to come through the middle, 3 wide. Oh my word, this is going to be fun.
And this is where the battles are going, because they're having to get through their own class too. And Keith's going to take up the inside, and now we're going to have a new leader.
And we almost had a bit of contact there between Bradders and Twirly, but it just showed you the hybrid power of the Toyotas because they can actually get it charged enough throughout the lap that it just really is a good advantage, and definitely the Toyotas doing well around their sort of home track really.
And the Toyotas are doing very well in this race, and they're going to keep having the good pace throughout the race, and now it's just going to be them two and see who's going to make the less mistakes and better strategy.
It looks like you went off back there, Will, just catching the grass on the way out, getting a bit too carried away with the power I think there, but all's well so far with yourself. And Bradders then is now got Bidster behind in front of him, and also Bidster's being passed by TY, so TY now takes the class lead in GTE. Bidster goes behind in 8th.
And now a little bit of separation there, so I don't know if that's from lapping or it was a pit stop. It looks like the 158 last lap. So now these two are kind of going to be off sync again.
Yeah, Bids did make a pit stop the last lap round, so this is his outlap. It says outlap above his time there. So as Firepower and Bradders go past, and you can see that they'll only just be able to get past, whereas the Toyotas would be well gone by now. But Bradders and Firepower still having a very good battle, and I think they're relishing the opportunity to drive these LMPs.
Yeah, because a lot of times the guys that can't either don't make qualifying because they just don't have the time, or aren't the quickest, they don't get the opportunity to be in these cars a lot. So right now, they're trying to have the best times possible and show that they can do well in these cars. So they're having a very good battle back here.
Yeah, because with LMP1, it's not just about driving the faster cars and having the better, the quick reaction times to drive them. It's about actually managing traffic, which is the main thing that makes you lose and gain time in endurance racing. But they've actually coped with the traffic very well. They've both been very patient, very alert, very aware, and both driving exceptionally well. But Bradders just looking like it's just slightly stronger, the Audi, than the Porsche at this stage of the race.
And the Audis could really get some pace going on, because they could seem to say the hybrid just a bit better than the GTE cars, so are not the other cars in class. So the Audi is just a tad bit better on the hybrid than the other cars.
The Audi and Red Bull and Will then are amongst Neil and Seek again, and Seek looks like this time he's lost a bit of time to Neil Farmack with those other two cars in the way there, and I think he's made a little mistake, because he's gone a bit further back there, so he must have run wide out the previous corner. Red Bull sneaks past Neil, and that could be vital coming onto the straight as Neil Farmack trying to sneak up the inside of an LMP1 car. He's getting cheeky, this Neil.
Yeah, it looks like he was trying to get the best run possible to try to get as much of Red Bull's route as he possibly could.
As Red Bull then with Will in the draft. Let's go on board with Will to see the speed difference. And you can see there's not much speed difference there, so you can see the Porsche definitely struggling more with its top end. But one thing with the Porsche is it's very good and very strong in the second sector of the track, Will. I wonder if you could explain a bit more on that.
Yeah, the Porsche is very good in the second sector of Fuji because this car really loves fast, quick corners, and also it loves its slow corners because it was built for Le Mans, which has everything. So maybe in this race doesn't have the best top speed, but it can really, in this part of the track, really outperform a lot of other cars.
And Bidster on his fresh tyres has caught and passed TY. So TY then and Bidster still out of sync, but still together on track as Will and Red Bull now make their moves to go past, and he's not quite got past Bidster as Bidster moves slightly offline there because Red Bull was on the outside of him, so that could make things interesting.
Yeah, now that could maybe bring Bidster back to TY just a little bit here with these two prototypes coming through.
As Will tries to look at the inside of Bidster there, can't quite get it done, so now Will's stuck behind the GTE car, and that allows Red Bull a bit of opportunity to get away, so that's not helped them, as Will gets a massive tank slap around the corner, goes around the outside of Bidster and makes it stick. Nice work there, Will, and around the outside finding the grip, and Twirdy comes into the pits then to break up the sequence of Keith and him.
And now it's going to push that battle back, but with how pit stops go on, I see here in a few laps, them two will be right back together battling again.
Let's have a check on the back, the guys at the back of the pack then. So Intrepid is in 13th, he sort of broke the chain, and he's now actually catching up to Blake. And but he is due a sort of a pit stop in a few laps. I know the tyre's pretty fresh, but with the fuel, he's not put much fuel into, going for some shorter stints in that BMW. And it looks like it's working pace-wise, but I'm not sure about the long-term effects of that plan.
It looks like it's working on track, but I'm not sure if he's getting enough in the pit to really make that work because he's still towards the back. I'm not sure if he just caught on too late to that or what's going on with the car, but he's able to keep up with a lot of the cars in class.
And we've got Techno here in 14th with Rodders in 15th. They're definitely in sync because look, both fresh tyres, both quite good on fuel, so they're both definitely together. And then we've got Stevie back in 16th. Didn't really get on for any practice, not really committed any time for practice, Stevie, and that's the result. You end up at the back.
Yeah, especially at this track. Yeah, I mean, really with the cars that are running here, you really need to get as much practice as possible to be ready for the race.
So Keith in the pits then. Keith in the pits, the leader comes in, and Twirdy's coming down the start finish straight with how quick the pit stops are, and with all the cars he's got to tell. He's going through the middle of the lot of them. Incredible! Through the middle of the lot of them. Keith's still in the pits, still on the tracks. There he goes. He's going. This is going to be intense.
Now this is going to be see who can break first. I do believe with this battle it's going to be a play of chicken, and looks like Raz is going to make it through past Twerdy. He gets through and stays ahead, but now Twerdy's going to have the extra hyperpower coming out of the corner, and now the battle is going to be back on for first.
But Twerdy's lost some time there because it really should have been that Brad has lifted a bit before the corner and letting him go through, because it is blue flag regulation for when you're within your own class. So a bit naughty there by Bradders, but he got away with it. But now they're up to some GT cars, and it's really getting intense now.
And now they're really trying to have to battle through and catch everybody. And as this battle's going on, we had a battle in the pit lane, and now the position for third has changed.
So that was in LP, yeah. So yeah, that's yes. Pit. So Will has took third place from Red Bull. So Red Bull putting a lot more fuel in there. Didn't really need to, but he looks like he likes that Audi heavy. But I still don't understand the reason to run heavy. You might as well just run as much fuel as you need in LMP, because it does add a lot of weight to the car. As Red Bull there finds himself waiting for a move on seat one and then gets up the inside. But Will then definitely making progress here and making a bit of an extension to third place here.
Yeah, and when they're in the pit lane there, I thought he was going to go for the half tank again, so I went a lap short, but to try to beat him out of the pit lane and maybe see me hold up in traffic. And so now, but towards, in pit lane wise, we got a little bit of a head, but on track we're pretty close together.
Firepower and Bradders in at the same time then. Fuel, not that much different between the two. So this is going to be a good little pit stop war here. Fuel goes in on both cars here, and this is going to be a battle of the pit lane crews. Let's see who wins.
And Firepower just gets out first, just ahead, and with only a 1 liter difference between the two.
Yeah, 1 litre difference between the two, and Firepower gets out slightly ahead of Bradders. So close together then as they come out the pits, and they've got Stevie to get past, and Firepower's going to get it done before Coca-Cola, which could make a difference.
And yeah, if he can get past, then he'll be able, and he does, so he's going to be able to kind of extend that run out just a bit, not be held up behind the GT car.
As Brad is there, like you said, Will has to run wide and go past him that way, so he's passed him, but took a bit of time. As now we get more blue flags out there. That's just for the other cars. I think that's for Will coming up to the back there. So Keith and Twerdy still together, and Keith in the lead of the Fuji 2 hours here on lap 63 of 86. And both cars doing well, but I'm really surprised that they've actually kept this close. I was expecting this race to be a bit more fanned out than this, but we've got some really good battles up and down the field.
And all throughout the field, and it seems like most people have a battle to deal with on track. So, so you know, everybody's keeping with each other. You know, some of the prototypes are off the leading cars, but they still have battles to deal with and positions to try to hold off on track.
So let's have a look at some more battles. Then we've got Firepower and Brad as they've been a bit more spread out. We've got Neil Farmack in 8th with seat 1 still behind him. The 2 American cars still cannot be separated, but Neil looks like he's due for a pit stop.
Yeah, Neil will most likely be in the next lap or 2 at most, where Seek has about roughly another 3 to 4. So these two are about a lap or 2 off of their pit sequences.
The question is now, does Seek follow Neil in? Because I would imagine Neil will come into the pits this time. Fuel's not looking good, tyres aren't looking good. So I think he is. He's moving over to the inside, yes. It looks like he's coming into the pits, and Seek 1 is going to follow him. So Seek 1, oh no, maybe not. He moves, oh, he sort of crossed the line there, but I suppose he wants to draft. That's fair enough, but it wasn't too dangerous. But Seek 1 goes round then, and Neil Farmack into the pits. That could be the difference maker.
Yeah, now Neil's going to come in, and probably close out for the GT field. He's going to take that over. So he's going to come through. But now this battle here is he has some prototypes mixed in with it on track between 13th through 15th.
And Blake's starting to go backwards here in the Porsche. He's being caught by Rodders and Techno, so it looks like Blake's not quite at the pace of the other cars. 139s to 38s for Rodders, and Blake back in the 40s, so there's definitely something wrong with there.
It could possibly be the tires, because he's on worn mediums, so he probably doesn't have much pace as he does on the softs as he does on the mediums.
So he's tried to go for a longer stint, and it's not quite worked. The Porsche does like its soft tyres, and but we'll see how things go. It might work out later on, but if I were Blake at the moment, I'd be starting to think about a change in tyres. So Techno comes up behind him, oh, on the curb, and almost loses the back of the car on the curb, very close to disaster there. And Rodder's now going for the move in the Aston Martin as Intrepid further ahead goes into the pits.
And now he's going to be making his stop, and nobody goes with him. He's been on softs already, so I bet he'd go with the softs.
He'll go with the softs again as Rodders and Blake on side by side into the corner. We see Rodders on the inside of the Porsche. The McLaren of Techno trying to sneak in for a little look, just trying to see, can I follow you through? But looks like Rodders has got the line into the corner if he can stay ahead, but Blake's trying to keep it on the inside. He's not giving this one up if he can, and there's contact between the two! Contact between the two cars, and Blake goes round. He's into the wall, he's almost into the wall, and that was a very close one to call it. He's flustered, he's annoyed, he's spinning the car everywhere, but Blake was on the inside there. Roddy's coming across, and well, Blake, he's well and truly peed off with that, isn't he?
Yeah, as you can see, that was a very risky move down there, and it did not work. And you see Rodda's nose, he had a bit of a contact there, and is now waiting up for Blake to come back through.
Yeah, so Rodda's there, probably definitely feeling at fault, and I think it was at fault because he didn't leave enough room on the inside for the Porsche that was definitely still there. Could see that was definitely going to happen, as Rodda's does sportingly wait for Blake, but you wonder if he should have just known in the first place. But now Bidster starts to come up to lap his own class. So the GT cars now coming up to lap their own class.
Yeah, now you're getting really late in the race, and you're seeing mistakes like stuff like that, really cost you where you're at on track, and now that has brought Bid a lot closer.
So Will then in third place. We've got Red Bull further behind in fourth. You're about to lap Firepower in fifth. Let's have a look at the leaders then, and it is still Keith leading the Fuji 2 hours ahead of Twerdy. So we're just going to take a little break now, guys, just to separate things up, and we will see you back in a moment. LPB Racing presents the LPB Fuji 2 hours. This is part of our LPB Super Season, and we hope you all enjoyed this race. Hi everyone and welcome back to the Fuji 2 hours, and let's get cracking with part 3 then. So here we go then. So this is I'll come back after the break, and we've got Keith still leading the way in LMP1. We've got Twerdy in second place, not too much between the two, as Twerdy a bit off there, and that's what I mentioning earlier, Will, about Twerdy getting a bit ragged.
Yeah, it looks like he's having a hard time, pushing a bit harder. He's getting a little bit off track and making a few mistakes that's pushing him farther back.
So Neil Farmington coming down the pit straight, and seat 1 in the pit lane. This could be quite close. It jumps the car at the end of the pit lane, but I think Neil Farmington's got it. Yes, he has.
And Neil gets through, and he will also at that point lap Blake 2 at the same time. So he gets a very good jump at last corner and makes a good pass in pit with somebody in the pits.
And Blake comes back out on the soft tyre, so he's tried the medium, didn't work. Well, it really didn't work because obviously he got took round by Rodders just before the break. So, but he's now back on soft tyres and hopefully can regain some of the lost time. But he's got a bit of time to make up there.
Yeah, he has a bit of a good amount of time to make back up. He's farther back. Maybe with pit stops and an incident or two, he could maybe get back up towards the front, but it's going to be a hard last 20 laps.
So Will there still in third place, lapping Jamo around the outside. Firepower about to follow and do the same. He's waiting behind, being sensible there, and we've got Red Bull closing on the back of them as well. Red Bull a lot more fuel in his car, soft tyres, same rough tyre wear for Will, except you're finding the grass there, but also you've got a lot less fuel in the tank, so possibly could see a longer stop for Will this next time round.
Yeah, and now a question I have for you is, at this point in the race, as a GT driver, what would be going on inside your head at this point?
Well, inside my head at this point, I'd be thinking, well, if you're on about me specifically, I'd say, well, I'd look at that fuel gauge. I think, yeah, I need to pit. Tyres aren't looking too bad, but I would definitely suggest at this point in the racing, thinking maybe we've got to start thinking towards the end of the race now. You've got to start thinking, is it enough fuel to get to the end? Do I put a big lot of fuel in? Do I still keep doing little bits? And it also depends on the gap to the other car.
Okay, yeah, that's about usual there. What you want at this point, want to start backtracking to the end of the race, because like we said at Laguna, we don't have anybody helping us out strategy wise. It's all on the fly for a lot of people. So a lot of people are going to be at this point backtracking, and it's also a lot harder for the GT cars because they're roughly about, the leader in GT is 16 laps down the lead car, and a bit of contact there.
Twitty's had a mistake down at the chicane, goes through past Bidster and gets himself a bit flustered there again, but looks like Twitty's definitely had an off, as we saw with Bidster there getting close to him, and so Twitty then rejoins, but he's now lost a lot of time to Keith. That is a good 8-second gap at least now, I would say.
Yeah, and then Keith's going to stretch that gap out a bit more, especially with Twerdy. I'm just going in for him, having to slow down a bit more, so he's going to be able to stretch that gap out just a little bit more to Twerdy.
So Twerdy's burned his tyres up a little bit more there, but also he's got a bit less fuel. Keith's got more fuel and good tyres, so this could be Keith's chance to stretch it out, and he could be looking for a win here, so we'll have to see how we go, but I don't want to speak too early, because you never know how things might turn out, so we'll keep his eyes open on that. But Bidster and TY are both in, the two leaders in GTE come in, but Bidster's out first because he was in first. Half tank of fuel, soft tyres again. Seat 1 looking to try and get out where TY is. TY's coming out of the pits now. Where's Seat 1? There he is. Seat 1 goes ahead of TY into 9th, and with relatively new tyres on that Viper, so he's definitely in the running for this.
And he's getting really close there. You see 1st through 4th in class all within about 1.5 seconds, 2 seconds of each other. So they're really getting, this battle is going to go down to the end to see who's going to catch the win for the GT class.
So you've got TY, Seat 1 and Bidster are looking good for the class, but just trying to look where Neil Farmack is. He's in the lead because he's not quite pitted yet, so looks like he's put himself a bit more out of sync here, and that might not be helping the Corvette.
And that could throw him off of the strategy here, but the prototypes, they're getting pretty close to the end. So these GT cars, so it's really going to be a test to the end to see who has the best strategy, I think, at this point.
So we've got Neil Farmack leading GT for now, but he's due a pit stop probably I would say sooner rather than later. We've got C1 and TY up the inside in the Honda, up the inside of the Dodge Viper, and that just shows you the cornering of the Honda NSX when it's got new tyres on, and it was like the Dodge Viper was a GT4 car.
Yeah, and compared to a front-engine car, those mid-engine cars have superior cornering ability. So, but that Viper has the legs on it, so he's really going to be catching TY down the straight. As Neil's going to be coming in now and go down to about 4th in class.
So Neil Palmer in the pits then, as we got Jamo coming around the last corner, and so I actually could put Neil out quite near Jamo if he's not careful, because he's definitely lost touch with the front of his class. He comes out the pits, not much fuel in that car, so it looks like he's gone back to the Laguna Seca mindset.
Yeah, again, I mean, I wouldn't see why unless he thinks there's that little laps left to go in the race.
So unless he's gone too long those other stints, he needs a couple of quick ones, but we'll see how we go. But Firepower and Brad are still quite close, only the length of 160R between them, so that's probably about a 7-second gap as Firepower passes Bids but goes very wide and off the track, and that's not what you want when you've got Bradders not too far behind.
Yeah, that's a big mistake right there, and then Bradders isn't that far behind him, so he's going to really lose some time to that gap, and this battle might come back.
So Will there in 3rd place, looking due for a pit stop here. Will got red on the fuel, red on a few tyres as well. Twirdy's in after wrecking that rubber, but Keith is still able to go around, so Keith will extend his lead here then in the Fuji 2 hours, and so Twirdy's putting the fuel in as Will comes around the last corner. Possible pit stop here and a penalty, so you've been a naughty boy there.
Yeah, just had a not being patient again. Getting a little too trying to push too hard, and I really didn't need to.
And to slow down on the straight to get rid of it, not a good place to do it. As Red Bull and Bradders come out the corner. Red Bull's in 4th. He's closed on Will, but he looks like he's had a bit of traffic trouble here. And Bradders actually looking like he's got the faster car down the straight.
Yeah, it looks like Bradders by what I've been seeing, just a little bit of that final sector. Brad's been able to say just a bit more hybrid than the other cars that the hybrid isn't that great on. So, he has that little bit of advantage to him.
TY uses the LMP cars to get a draft and defend himself against Seat 1's attacks in the Viper. That Viper uncannying down the straight, absolutely fast as fast as anything I can think of. But the TY's Honda then better in the corners, and this is the bit where TY can try and edge the gap, because there's about a 10 mile an hour cornering speed difference around here with the mid-engine cars, and but then obviously you go on to the acceleration zones, and that's where the front-engine cars get them back.
Yeah, the mid-engine cars are really good in the corners. As you see, Keith is now in, and imagine he's going to go with a not short stop. I was almost wondering if he would try to put enough fuel in to go to the end.
Unless he knows Twirdy might be on a similar thing, so remember, we can see what the fuel is with everyone, guys, but the drivers can only see their own, so probably Keith playing it sensible there, actually, because I'm not sure if those soft tyres would actually make it to the end. It'd be quite a long stint to get to the end.
Yeah, it would be a good stint to get to the end there, just over really over 10 laps to go. We're about 14 left. So it's going to be a really tough stint to see who's going to pick what and when. And Red Bull's going to be in too, so it's about for 3rd and 4th. Might just come back a little closer.
So he could come that close because Will's still putting fuel in. He's got to put quite. Oh, he's not actually gone for. You've not actually gone for much fuel. You've gone for just under half a tank, which might be brilliant at this point of the race, because this is where you need to be putting the fuel down. But Red Bull's already out because that's the advantage of pitting earlier. But medium tyres for Red Bull. Could that have sealed the deal?
It quite possibly could, because I think I kind of have an idea. He's trying to go to the end, eliminate that last pit stop, because really for prototypes, that's it for a lot of them right there. Depends on how long they're going.
Sorry for everyone there losing Will's voice, but we've lost Will's voice a little bit there. He's gone very tinny and we can't really hear him properly, so we'll just give Will a few moments to sort that back out. But we'll just run through the board then while we're doing this. So Keith is in 1st place here. We've got Twirdy in 2nd. Purple sectors here for Twirdy. This could be the fastest lap of the race so far, and it is a 1:25.3 for Twirdy, so he's on the move here. But Keith's it was a 1:23 last time, but he's just come out the pit, so So Twirly then definitely on the move here. Will is in third. We've got Red Bull in fourth, in the traffic behind Bidster. So he's just pulling out to overtake now. But runs wide. He can't do that because Bidster will go back through, and Red Bull again getting carried away with the traffic. And we'll just see if my colleague's got his microphone working yet. So Will, any luck?
I do believe I may have it fixed. There we go. But yeah, a lot of these guys, especially, I think Red Bull, what he's going to be going with here is to try to push it to the end on the mediums. So, because he is a lap or two down to the leaders, so he's really going to be trying to maybe even go to the end and cut out that final pit stop and gain some time on track.
And obviously at this point you can't see what he's actually going to be doing. I say you because Will is actually, well, Will's talking with us, but we actually were in this race, so Will is actually in third place, the American who's talking to us now, and myself, Bidster, I am back in the lead of GTE for now because we've got TY and Seat 1 still hunting me down. Rodders in that Aston Martin seems to have picked up the pace, but the trouble is he's at the well, he's been lapped. That's the problem.
Yeah, and we've seen that a lot in these final races. Somebody that may have some pace at the beginning, but this towards the middle kind of loses it, and then they lose enough to where when they finally get their pace back, it's just a little bit too late.
So in the lead of the GT then is Bidster. I have to admit I had to use the driving aids on that car because that is on the steering wheel, not an easy car to drive one single bit. The people that have used that car before have been on controllers, so they've not had as much issue with the car, but on the wheel for some reason Gran Turismo Sport on the Ferrari is an awful car to drive, but in real life it is probably one of the best cars to drive handling wise. But on GT Sport I can tell you something, it handles like a road car. It's awful. But with the driving aids on, it makes it somewhat salvageable, and I was able to do some work with it. TY there scrubbing the tyres at this point, and this is the point of the race where you'll see more of a sprint race mindset. Will, I wonder if you could just explain on that a bit more for us.
At this point in the race, a lot, especially these GT cars, they know, especially if they've been maybe have an idea of how many times they've been lapped, they know this is it. This will be the last 10 laps of the race right now. So at this point, they're thinking it's a sprint race. I need to get as big of a gap as I can and stay out of that pit lane as long as I can. Because you're in the pit lane, you're losing time when the car's on track, especially if you're in a close battle. So they're really going to try to be, staying in sync as much as possible. Because if they can pit together, then that means they can beat them out of the pit lane. Where if they're pitting, that means the car on track behind them can just go shoot right through, just like Neil did there to Seek. So, at this point in the race, they're really going to be trying to push as hard as they can and making these stops as less as possible.
Speaking of pit stops, it's going to be Neil Farmack, probably the next GT car that's due in, because look, he's just gone to red on the fuel, which means he's got less than 10 litres left in the tank. So definitely running a bit low on the old fuel there, Neil. And Seat 1 could see himself taking back that 9th place. And
now he's going to get some really good pace here. So Neil goes through for 9th, which would be 3rd in class, and Seek's got some good outlap pace here. He's catching up to Blake right now, so that's going to be kind of a difficult car to get around, being in the same class. So maybe if he doesn't get behind him until the straightaway, maybe he might be able to get a bit of a draft, especially right here, and pull that car back up.
Yeah, absolutely. As Blake lets him go there, has been lapped, because obviously within your own class blue flag rules do apply. GR3s do have priority over the LMPs, but Twirly there, we just saw, as you were talking there, Will, Twirly making a bit of a sort of a twitchy attempt to get past to lap Blakeney, but it worked, but still he's taking a bit too many risks here.
Yeah, he does have the pace. He has the fastest lap of the race. He set 3:25s in a row, so he has the pace. It's just that he's pushing a bit too hard, going off track, making these really tight, questionable lap passes, and it's just not really working out the best for him because it's letting Keith get further away.
But someone who it is working out for at the moment is Firepower, because Bradders has just come out the pits. He's got Stevie to pass, but Firepower could see himself on for a 5th place here, which would be good for him. He's got a good rivalry with Bradders on GT Sport, developed over the last few months, and definitely two guys of a similar skill set, and it was going to be a good boost for Firepower going into the rest of this Super season.
And it will. If Firepower can get this 5th place, that'll really put him in a good spot for the rest of the Super Season races with these points he'll be getting. So now he's going to be pitting, so that's going to bring that battle closer together depending on where Brad is at on his pit strategy.
So firepower then into the pits, lap 73 for him, and the leader Keith is on lap 76, so a big difference there. And Bradders has just been lapped by Keith again, so that Toyota going very well here, and Keith looking like he's doing a very professional job here of keeping this lead, and he's actually keeping it consistent, keeping it clean, and Keith looking like he's on a way to a good finish here.
And it really is, and also need to remember that this super season has points, so it's not, this race just isn't for bragging rights to say that I won this race. It's also going to be for points. So it's an ongoing. No one will officially win the championship, but it'll just say I'm ahead in points. So everybody's going to want as many super season points as they can get.
Yeah, because there will be a winner of the Super Season overall. Obviously, we all do in different classes, get different points, but we'll have an overall winner. We're going to do a lot more Super Season. We've got about 10 or 11 races, 12 races probably planned out for this Super Season, so it is going to be stretched over a year or two. So, because obviously we do it after each championship. Championships can vary from 7 weeks to 10 weeks long. So we do one after each one. So definitely going to get a few in within a year or a year and a half, something like that. So definitely going to be a super season. As
and
Keith goes
doing
through.
A really good job here.
Yeah, Keith doing a good job here, and up out the corner you can see how much hybrid that Toyota saves. Look how much he's got, full battery almost. Go to Will's car, and there's nothing left. definitely,
and again,
definitely
that's the mix of cars we have here. The Toyota has really been good on that hybrid power, and everybody else is kind of, the car's been slacking a bit there, but it's how the race goes. You have Twerdy! And a big off for Twerdy right there.
That's not doing his tyres any good, Will.
No, it's not, and this is again, people are getting fatigued
so
at
hard.
this point in the race with 9 laps to go. You're having people getting fatigued. They've been sitting there for almost just short of an hour, now 2 hours. So they're really mistakes are really starting to happen at this point in the race, when they really need to stay away from mistakes as much as possible.
Yeah, I should point out as well, guys, these are the default BOPs that we're using on this, just a reminder. So these Le Mans cars are actually set up, well, for Le Mans, so LMP's Le Mans prototype. So these cars around Le Mans on the default BOPs are actually completely and utterly equal around Le Mans. They can all do literally almost the exact same lap time to within a tenth of a second of each other. So very close. It's just that this circuit seems to suit the Toyotas a lot more with their kind of hybrid system of how it works, because it does charge very quickly.
Yeah, and it does charge very quick compared to other cars. So I'm surprised by the Porsche that it charges almost all the time. I mean, unless you're braking. Actually, even when you're braking, I mean, it charges when you're braking and going in a straight line. So, that's very surprising compared to the Porsche of the Toyotas, as Red Bull had a little bit of incident there.
Yeah, Red Bull had a spin there on the medium tyres. Still not liking those medium tyres with the grip. That's one thing when you've been on the soft sole race, then you go to a harder compound tyre. It really does feel like you're driving on ice. Will comes out of the pits then. He's going to be ahead of Red Bull, and Red Bull trying to put down that gap. But the fuel now more or less the same in the two cars, but Will with the advantage of new tyres here and traffic.
Yeah, now Red Bull looks like he's not really liking the mediums, but that just shows strategy can go anywhere and put you anywhere.
It was a smart idea to try and put mediums on. You could see the logic behind it, but it's just not quite worked overall because of not just the pace, but also the overall feel of the car. And it's probably just a bit too much of a dramatic change at this point in the race. But you got to give him credit for trying. As Twerdy comes into the pits then in second place, Keith extending the lead then in his class. 126.5, 126.1 last time round. Really good average lap times from Keith. As you see there, Twerdy's lap times 29, 27, 27, 25. So just goes faster, gets slower, and then gets really slow, and does that as he comes out the pits.
Yeah, and really, I'm surprised to kind of see Twerdy back that far from the lead, because in qualifying, pretty much everybody saw how the Toyotas were going to be the ones to beat in this race. Compared to the car starting in third, they were a second ahead on qualifying times. But it just shows mess ups and all that can really mistakes can really keep that away, and Twerdy had the pole, so and had a good gap to not an amazing gap to Keith, but had a gap there. So Keith really shined out in this race and showed you don't have to have the best overall pace, just the best strategy, and to be patient and not make as many mistakes.
Consistency always beats one-off pace. You could be, even if you're consistently 1 second, even if you're consistently half second of a lap slower than the other car. If the other car can only do that lap time for a couple of laps in a stint of 10 laps, shall we say, then the car that's going a half second slower per lap will definitely win, because it's going to be, it's more consistent, it's out there, and also he's looking after his tyres. So we have now got 6 laps left in this race, and this is getting to the point where the GT drivers, Keith has almost a bit of a twitch out there, but just getting a bit carried away. The car's a bit lighter than usual as Keith makes a mistake there, but this is the point of the race, Will, where the GT drivers have now got to try and guess when the end of the race is going to be, because they're still saying, look, lap 70 out of 86, so that's going to be 16 laps left. No, scratch that, because the leader has only got 6 laps left, but these guys don't know that.
Yeah, and that's going to change in these 6 laps too, because with the pace they've been going on, the Toyota should get another lap on the leading GT car. So, especially with him being in the pits. So, you might get a lap or 2 off of what you already think. Even if you can guess the right amount of laps, you're going to go a lap or 2 down. So the GT cars could roughly only have their 5, maybe 4 laps left.
As Bidster comes out of the pits, then the GT leader comes in and is now back behind Seek1 and TY. And remember, this is going to be only a handful of laps left now, 6 laps on these tyres. TY is, going to be about 5 laps for these guys. But TY then on tyres that will definitely do 6 laps. Seek1's tyres look a lot worse for wear. Fuel is also going to be an issue for Seek1 as well, but Bidster and TY look set to the end, but Bidster's got a slightly more fresher rubber at this point. Predictions, Will?
At this point in the race, I kind of see TY and Bid probably going to be the one fighting for the win here, because they both have the fuel and tires to make it to the end. Seek with that that not great tire on that Viper, I think if he doesn't make the stop, his tires will kind of fall off towards the end, and it'll make him fall back to roughly 3rd.
There's me and you on track, Will, just passing myself there in the Ferrari, and for powering on ahead. That's the difference in the weight as well. But Seek1 has lost time to TY. He's lost time. I think there's Stevie in there as well. Stevie's being lapped by his own class again. As Seek1 goes through in 8th position with Will behind. Will try and get past onto the straight, but Biz has got a bit of a, Seek1 definitely looks vulnerable here.
Yeah, I mean, you see there that left side tire again is causing Seek problems. So, I'd expect that Ferrari to be catching up here in the next lap or 2.
The tyre wear of the Viper strikes again. The American cars abusing those front tyres, but obviously the grip being quite good. As we saw Neil peel into the pits there further back, so probably looking for a fresh set of tyres to see if he can make any impact towards the end of this race. He's got Jamo not far behind, but probably a fresh set of boots and straight on with it, because then he definitely knows he can get to the end even if it's extended a bit. So possible good idea there from Neil. Not lost too much time with the warping pit stops here on GT Sport. So let's have a look then through the field then. We've got Keith and Twerdy then on lap 82. Twerdy's just coming up to the line now. Fastest lap of the race again for Twerdy. Remember, that's an extra point as well in the Super Season, which could make a difference. A 25.0. Wow, that is close. I'll let you just take the reins, Will, while I just have a look at that, what lap time he did in qualifying, because that was close.
And Twerdy has another big twitch there coming out of turn 1. So again, his consistency there is kind of getting pushed back to his lap time pace there. Will is in 3rd, and then we have Red Bull in 4th, and now the battle between Intrepid and Techno heating right back up here.
So I've just had a look at the qualifying times. As Techno goes up the inside of Intrepid, and solid move through that last corner, Will, but the thing is now he's vulnerable from the draft.
Yeah, now that draft is really going to catch him back up and may just re-switch the pass that just happened.
So let's have a look. Blake's at the back of the field still trying to recover from everything, and now we've got Stevie there being passed by Red Bull, and Firepower is behind him. Please don't tell me there's a lap difference between the two. Oh, there is. As that could have been quite a good battle there, but still the race goes on. But yes, Twerdy's fastest lap in the race, a 125.033. Keith's qualifying time was a 125.027, and his own qualifying time was a 24.8. So he's very, very close to his qualifying time. And and also I should note as well, the qualifying was done with the fuel turned off. So he's actually done almost his same qualifying time with fuel on. That is incredible pace from Twerdy, but just a bit late in this race.
Yeah, and it was just a bit too late for him. When he set a fast lap on the fast lap of the race about 10, 12 laps ago, but then again, that he may have the good 1-2 lap pace, like you said earlier, but it's just the mistakes are just hindering the pace he actually has.
So as I look at the GT battle then, Bidster and TY still getting closer and closer, but Bidster's running out of time here because the leader is on lap 83 of 86, and Bidster has got to try and get past before, when the leader crosses the line, everyone else that crosses the line after him will finish. So that is going to make things a bit interesting for these guys to get in the right place at the right time. Seat 1 on new tyres now, but he's a lot further behind, so he's got a lot of catching up to do. He's definitely going to be good to the end, but also Neil could be an impact as well. The two American cars, fresh tyres.
And when saying that, I kind of would think that Sig may have a good gap just ride it out, but right in that clip, I saw Neil coming through the chicane there. But Sig having a penalty, so he's going to have to get rid of that before he crosses the line, so that's going to bring this to another new battle on track.
Yeah, Sig's going to have to get rid of that before the line, otherwise he'll incur a 10-second penalty. So he's got to get rid of that, and it's worth losing 1 or 2 seconds for saving the 10. And now Neil Farmack comes up, and the thing is, he's just past Rodders, and he's got a draft from an LMP, so that's going to really help him out.
And now you can see that gap shortening up there, going from about 4 or 5 seconds to now down to close to about 2. So that gap really coming, and you can see Neil now on back of onboard of Seek, but Neil really catching Seek back up here.
We've got there, so that's Jamo in 11th place. So let's have a look back to the leaders then, because it's only a handful of laps left in this race. Keith looking good for a maiden super season win, and definitely the boost he wants, because he's going to have to. He's missing next season due to a bit of medical. Medical stuff that he's doing, so he's going to be missing for a season, and this is going to be the best way to sort of go out of LPB Racing, then to come back later on stronger.
Yeah, this is going to be a real confidence booster going into his next season back, leaving on a win. So, you're going to really need to, give him that confidence he needs to come back and really, in our main week championship, do very well there. So, great pace here. Now he'll be coming around to about 2 laps to go this time around.
So Keith disappearing for surgery in the next championship, so he'll be missing for the next championship because he's got to recover from this little op that he's having, and Keith will bounce back the championship after, and this is, like Will said, this will be the confidence boost he needs to carry over as he starts his penultimate lap of this race. Looking good to take the maiden win for Zimmer Frame Racing. I still can't take that with a straight face, but it's still funny.
Yeah, I mean, and it just shows, everybody, we're kind of serious on our racing, but, on everything seen our liveries, you see the 2 Durex cars, we have, everybody wants to throw in a bit of comical there, too, along with serious racing. Twerdy looks like he came through there, a bit better of lapping cars that time.
He's finally got there.
But Bid is almost on the back of TY now.
And now TY's got the back markers to worry about of Techno and Intrepid, who are having their own battle as well. And Techno's got no interest in the blue flags of letting TY through here, I don't think. She's ran wide. TY should be let through here. This is where Intrepid and Techno should lift off and let them through. But we'll have to see what happens here as we go through down to the next corner. This is going to get intense. Techno lets them both go through, but Intrepid, is he holding up TY? He's holding up TY. He can't let him through. He's still not letting him through. TY's bashing him. Come on, knock knock. Who's there? It's TY. Answer the bloody door.
Yeah, and Intrepid.
And Bidster goes through.
And Bidster's going to go through on the outside. Now we have a new leader in GTE.
And Bidster throwing the car around the outside. He knows he's got fresh tyres. Intrepid needs to respect the blue flags. And he's let Bidster go through, but now TY's got to go up the inside and finally gets through. But TY well and truly screwed over there by the traffic, and Intrepid should have let TY go at that chicane. He saw Techno doing it. He should have let him through there.
Yeah, and then that was getting really close on the three turn rule. So, that might come as something towards the end of the race. Now, you see the GT cars go through on their final laps. So there's going to be a battle till the end on GT.
So TY then back on the back of Bidster, but let's have a look at the tyres real quick. We've got TY there on his tyres. Let's look at Bidster's much fresher tyres. Bidster should be able to pull away here, so TY is going to have to try and really try something special. Seat 1 and Neil are quite close, another good battle to watch towards the end, but Keith is on his last lap of the race. Let's spend the last bit of the lap with Keith. We've got a car off at the first corner. Sorry, I'm just going through the cameras, guys. It's Blake. He's off at the last corner. I think he's waiting for the finish. I think he knows he's not going to catch Rodders, so I think he's waiting for the finish.
Yeah, it was a tough break for Blakeney again, but had good pace all race, just a tough break for him.
So Keith then comes around the penultimate corner, around the last corner, and it's been an epic drive here from Keith, and he's going to take a maiden Super Season win here.
And it'll be his first Super Season win coming through here, and now he's going to come through to win the 2 hours of Fuji after a very, very good race going by Keith on his last race in LPB for a while.
Well done, Keith. The winner of the Fuji 2 hours there for Keith. Well done, and he'll be ecstatic with that. Absolutely brilliant, and don't let the heart rate get too high, Keith. That's what you're going for. Twerdy then finishes in second place. A very good finish for Twerdy there. Just a bit inconsistent in the race, which cost him the win, but still he'll be very happy with second.
Yeah, and he will be. So now, and Bidster is going to come through to take the GTE class 2 hours of Fuji win, and TY going to be a very hard-fought close second.
A very good fight there between the lot, and then you see Techno and Intrepid, a very close finish between them. Intrepid taking it, Bradders takes 6th as well. This is where it all gets a bit topsy-turvy, guys, but we'll straighten that out for you in a little bit. So we've got Neil coming to the line here, and Seek is ahead of Neil, so Seek wins that little battle, so he gets the podium spot for the GT. Neil Farmack in 10th overall, but 4th in class. We've got Intrepid, Techno, Stevie, Rodders and Blake, the order of the rest of the guys in GT. Jammer will finish 11th. We've got Will coming here for a podium finish for Will in 3rd place. Very well done for Will. 3rd place, flashing his lights. Very happy with that result there as well, and a very good result for him. That'll be a good confidence booster as well. Red Bull and Firepower coming towards the line, a lap between them, but they'll be 4th and 5th in class as well, and a very good race overall for them. So we will now, guys, take a little break, and we'll go to the replays of the race. If we can get a few replays in, we'll try and squeeze some in for you, and then also we'll go straight to the results as well. Let's take a look back at some of the replays from the 2 hours of Fuji. Okay, so here's the first of the replays then. We're looking further on into the race. It is Rodders and Blake on the lap 57. The controversy of the incident was that Blake didn't give enough room to Rodders. We'll have a look now as a second look. So Blake then on the outside, which turns into the inside because the next corner's the left-hander. And watch here as the cars turn in. You see we're on the brakes, we turn in. But then Blake sort of doesn't make the apex to a point and hits the back of Rodders. And again, Rodders did turn in, so it was quite hard to see from that angle. But we'll just get another few angles now of Blake's, of a few different people's onboards, and we'll start with one from Will.
We are now on board with Techno for that incident between Blake and Rodders for another view of it. So everybody's going to get kind of tight going down to turn 1 like you always normally do here at Fuji. Now they're going to come in here. They're going to kind of keep battling close, get a bit closer together, but leave a good amount of room here. Now they're going to go down the Coca-Cola curve. Now you see, they break, Rodders turns in, but Blake isn't at the apex yet, and they just go around, and then Techno has nowhere to go and tags the end of Blake.
So guys, let's now go to the race results of the Fuji 2 hours. Your winner overall is Keith. Well done to Keith in the Toyota. Brilliant win for the Zimmer Frame racing car, with Twerdy second. Well done to him, a good second place, 7 seconds off. Will third, a lap down in the Porsche. Well done to him. Red Bull in 4th in the Audi. We got then Firepower 5th in the Porsche, with Bradders 6th in his Audi. Your winner of the GTE class is Bidster. Well done to Bidster in the Ferrari, a bit of an underdog in that Ferrari. And then we've got TY second in the NSX. Third for Seat 1 in the Viper, well done to him. The Corvette of Neil Farmack in 10th. And we've got 11th for Jamo, 12th for Intrepid. We've got 13th for Techno in the McLaren, Stevie 14th in the Supra, Rodders 15th in the V12 Vantage, and Blakeney rounds off the 16 finishers overall. And the fastest lap of the race goes to Twerdy on a 1:25.0. So as we come back from that then, there is your winner of the LMP, and overall winner of the race is Keith, 56. Well done to Keith, fantastic win in the Zimmer Frame Racing team there. And get your comments now, Will, on his performance.
It was a very good race, minimal mistakes. I mean, the only time you saw any really was at a turn one, just getting a bit too hot on the gas. But very good race by Keith there, and very minimal mistakes showed that outright pace doesn't always win.
And there is the winner of the GTE category, Bidster in the AF Corsa Ferrari. And I can tell you something, I did not expect that win at all in that Ferrari. I thought I was going to be way down the order because the tyre wear was awful, but managed to keep it consistent enough and lucky enough on the last lap to have TY have his problems. But I do have to give a shout out to TY, very unlucky there with the traffic, and it would have been a very good fight down to the wire. It's a pity it got spoiled the way it did, but nevertheless, Bidster with the win in GT. So we will now end our footage there. Well done to everyone in the race. Thank you, Will, for joining us, and we will see you guys next time for the next Super Season race, which I'll let Will announce just for you now.
So, and we've decided our next Super Season race will be the 2011 to 2013 Le Mans 24 Hours with the diesel prototypes and the same sort of year GT cars. So it's going to be another good race like our last Le Mans race.
So it's going to be a very good, epic action. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel, and we will see you guys next time. See you guys.